Hello, children. Are we live in the right place? YouTube is kind of nerve-wracking because when you do stream like through OBS, you know you're live, but you don't know where you're live. Not really, until the audience tells you. How are we doing tonight? Are we feeling biological? I'm feeling so biological. I don't even know how to handle it. All right, let's do this. Question time. Jake Pierner says, "Hi Natalie, been following for a long time and still absolutely love your work." Thanks, Jake. I was wondering, I want to get more into activism with my writing. The problem is I'm pretty afraid to share my writing or views a lot of the time. Any suggestions that help you get involved or share your work? Well, it depends what kind of writing, what kind of activism, and what audience you have. I mean, if you're talking about non-fiction writing, like journalism or something like that, I mean, it's, you know, cover topics that are important. Like, what is your hang up here, Jake? What is the deal? The problem is you're afraid to share your writing or views. Well, if you're afraid, stop being afraid. Now's the time. I don't know. Do a shot. Do a shot, Jake. Am I giving good advice, guys? Can you hear me? No, I think that you find a topic that you just genuinely care about and that you are knowledgeable about. That's where you want to start. Don't try to do activism by writing a bunch about a topic that you don't know anything about. Like, find a topic that you know about already, that you're sort of, find a community that you're a part of, and write about that. Write what you know. So that will make you more confident. And go to, work on finding a place for your writing that's, find the right place for your writing. So, don't try to publish. Don't write to the Daily Wire asking if you can publish trans rights essays. Jacqueline Bristow says, Bristow. I just say it all the ways. Natalie, thank you so much for tackling my issue last time with my ex-partner, who is claiming my coming out as her own. The situation has gotten a lot better. No questions, but you have my sincere thanks for that and for being a great voice in the community. Oh, thanks, Jacqueline. Thank you. You're welcome. Please. Oh, it's this one. You don't get a thank you, buddy. Says, "Hi, Natalie. I'll keep it short and sweet. My fiance and I are getting married on Saturday, June 1st. Would you please wish us well? Happy wedding. Congratulations. Here's some rice." Oh, it's this one. You don't get a thank you, buddy. And fiance / partner / husband / wife / gender neutral spouse. Congratulations. Take a shot, everyone. Take a shot for, oh, it's this one. You don't get a thank you, buddy. And their spouse. Happy wedding. Is this a word you can say in English? I'm getting real dumb, guys. I gotta start reading books again. Previous Mammoth says, "Hi, Natalie. What's your favorite prehistoric animal?" I'm gonna have to say animal. Can be anything. My first thought was a saber-toothed tiger. Very good teeth. Maybe like those giant nautiluses, like the big squids with the shells. Those are pretty cool. Trilobites. Trilobites are fun. They left their goddamn bones everywhere, or their shells. So that was a good plan in terms of being remembered. Keep that in mind. Annapurna Vadaparty says, "What are your thoughts on how to convince people to vote, especially ones who don't think their vote matters? Would you consider making a video on voting and or why we should vote? I spent a lot of time tutoring GED students in Baltimore, and I tried to explain to them that voting does matter, but it was a really hard sell. Well, uh, you could focus on what a horrible, horrible monster the current president is. I think that this season would be a good way to go because there's just no sinking beneath this. Like, I think that just spite, do not underestimate the power of spite and its hold on the human psyche. Because for me personally, I mean, that's like, you know, sometimes I don't vote in local elections and things because I am very lazy. But the thought of not placing my anti-Trump vote, oh no, I'll go any gesture I can anything I have to go through to make some kind of anti-Trump gesture, I'll do it. I'll do it because of spite. Spite is a powerful thing. Spite is a powerful thing, Annapurna. And that, I think, is what I would emphasize. So when talking to your students, always remember, stay negative. Keep the emphasis on how bad things are and how angry everyone should be. Only then the world will improve. It's the best idea I've got. I'm sorry, people. These flyaway hairs. I'm gonna clean my nose with a Q-tip. Isn't this? Put it in. Because my nose is running because of all the powder on my makeup, and I'm sorry that it's gross, but too bad. Oh, off the rails tonight. Just trying to keep my energy up, you know. Jaren Wischef says, "Hi Natalie, love your work and try to keep it short. A friend of mine, trans male and gay, wants to go into a gay club, but he's not allowed in because he lacks a penis. I agree with him completely that this behavior is bigoted. Where I disagree is that he called gay men who don't want to sleep with him transphobic and intolerant. Sexual desire is always intolerant. Since he is gay, he is intolerant towards women. I'd love to hear your opinion on that." So first of all, a gay club should absolutely allow trans men in. Second of all, this whole, like, is it bigoted to have dating preferences debate topic. I mean, so what do we even mean by that? If what we mean is, oh, it's for people to not want to sleep with me in particular is bigoted. No, that's madness. That's never true. But if what we mean is, like, a person's absolute refusal, a person saying that they would never be interested in dating a trans person, if that's what the person's position is, look, I'm not going to say it's bigoted, but here's what I will say. That if you're trans and you date cis people, a large percentage of the cis people you find who are sexually interested in you will tell you they never thought of dating a trans person until they saw you and found out that you were trans. So most of the people who are attracted to trans people at one time did not think that they would or ever be attracted to a trans person. So the thing is, like, cis people are just ignorant. They just don't know. They just don't understand that trans people are for them, like, potential partners, because they just don't think of it. You know, they have a lot of preconceptions about what a trans person is, and they don't think they would ever, you know, because when a lot of cis people think of a trans man, for example, they think a woman dressed like a man, or they think, you know, a trans woman, oh, a man dressed like a woman. And so they don't, like, they're just not in touch with, like, the reality of what a trans person is. And so then they meet a real trans person they're attracted to, and then, oh, suddenly now they get it, you know? So I'm not going to say it's bigoted, but I do think in most cases it's kind of ignorant. It's like, it shows an ignorance about trans people. Is the most effective way to combat that ignorance to be like, you're a bigot? No, it's not. So I don't know. I don't go around saying that people are bigots because they won't sleep with trans people, but the fact of the matter is that most people who believe they would never be attracted to a trans person are simply wrong. And I don't know what to do besides stand back and let them figure it out themselves. Thanks, Jaren. Let's see. Queen Nadia says, Natalie, thanks for answering my last question. I'm a closeted trans girl, and you told me to make my closet as small as possible. So I've been finding friends to confide in and freely express myself with. It's really helped. Love the videos, keep it up. Oh, thanks, Nadia. I'm glad I helped. I'm glad the insane advice I dispense on these streams has not led you to ruin. That's really fantastic. Love that for you. That's good though. I am happy for you, Nadia. Okay. EWT 396. Hi Natalie, how are you doing this fine and lovely evening? I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? I'm doing a short play at my college next semester about a trans man, and it really delves into the trans experience and trans rights. The play is called Pronoun, and I was wondering if you've heard of it. I have not heard of it. At the theater I'm doing it at, we have a talk back after the performances and discuss the themes of the play. Do you have any tips for me when discussing these themes in an audience full of Midwesterners who may not be so open-minded about the play? I guess I would say, like, sort of prepare in your mind answers to a lot of kind of stock questions. You know, think about what you're gonna, like, have in advance a response to. Why are pronouns so important to these people? Or to, I don't, that kind of thing. Why are we being forced to allow this? Why is our freedom to not allow other people to exist being infringed? Okay. Let's see. Battle Burrito says, howdy from Dallas again. Hope you're feeling better. My question, what genre of film or literature can best address and deconstruct problematic societal baggage? And why is it horror? Also, shout out to the LGBT horror podcast, The Film Flamers. They really helped me see horror in a new light. Thanks, Burrito. Yeah, I think horror, as you demand, is a good, it is a good genre for deconstructing problematic societal baggage. Here's just a crackpot Freudian nonsense theory that I can come up with off the top of my head for why that is. I think horror deals with, the way horror works is by sort of playing with fear and anxiety on the part of the audience. And, a lot of times the causes of fear and anxiety are these kind of subtle, like, subconscious things. And so it's a good way to tap into the kinds of, like, underlying anxieties people have about problems in their society, or about, things that are sort of go untalked about. So I think, using fear, disgust, anxiety, right? These are good ways to tap into some kind of, like, sort of deep social issues, because these are the kinds of emotions that people feel about them. That's a thought. I've never heard of the podcast, but it sounds good. I'll check it out. Thank you. Let's see. Hillary Weiss says, hey Natalie, loved your last video and really appreciate you opening up about something so deeply personal. Might I add, your biological sequence are most exquisite. Thanks, Hillary. As a writer / content creator myself in the online entrepreneurship space, with a far more modest following, lol, you said ha 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 and I read it as lol, because saying ha 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 out loud seems weird to me, and I say lol all the time. I think a lot about the boundaries I want to keep around my online life versus my IRL life, and often wonder where the line is for others. I know for me, family, generally all of my personal relationships, etc. are on the no list. If you plan on creating more personal content like your last video, how do you decide where the line is for you? So often your personal anecdotes deepen the nature of your work as well, so I'm curious if you feel it's best to be an open book, or if you have a hard stop anywhere, and if so, why? Yeah, so for me, I guess I sort of agree with you in that I sort of will be open with almost anything about myself, but when it comes to relationships with other people, like, there I want to protect the privacy of those other people. Now that even I've kind of started to not do. Like, I've definitely talked in, recent videos about, like, sexual relationships I've had, or about I sort of implied feelings towards other people in my life. Well, yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Because basically, I try to do it in a way so that people can't identify who I'm talking about. Um, you know what I mean? So it is a dangerous game though, and it's true that I do share a lot. Um, I guess that's maybe one reason. Like, there's this contentiousness around shipping with me, is that because I say so much about these, my sexuality and my relationships and friendships and things. Like, when people like start trying to connect that stuff to actual people, that it makes me kind of want to shut down, because I want to be able to talk about this stuff without like necessarily dragging other people into it, if that makes sense. So it's an ongoing difficult project, in other words. Okay. Tajdar Amir says, "Hi Natalie, I'm a big fan of your work." Thank you. This is not a question, rather a request to make a video about the constant nagging by the right. The people on the left love Islam and Muslims. As an ex-Muslim, I want to talk about the atrocities of Muslims in Islamic countries, but mostly these things end up being used by people on the right to justify their position. Meanwhile, people on the left seem to forget every bad thing about Islam. In a nutshell, the left gets things wrong about Islam, while the right gets things wrong about Muslims. Yeah, I am friends with, well, I haven't talked to her in a long time, Tier, but my colleague Ina, the podcaster, I did a couple things with a couple podcasts with a couple years ago, and she's in that sort of similar situation where she's like an ex-Muslim. She used to be sort of an atheist content producer, from the ex-Muslim perspective, but eventually had to kind of give it up because she found that the stuff she was producing was just being used by racists. So, I don't know. My position on this religion kind of stuff is like, I've gotten very like non-new atheist about it. You know what I mean? Like, the new atheist position is like, oh, religion is the root of evil. Like, religion causes all these problems, in society. And I agree to an extent. Like, obviously, like, religion doesn't have nothing to do with these problems. But I also think that, like, religion is such a shape-shifting kind of, vague thing in human life that can kind of, like, because some of the best people are religious, clearly, and some of the worst people. And, like, so I just don't really see that much point in, like, attacking a religion, since like the people who follow a religion can like essentially change the rules so drastically that I would focus on like I don't know, I think that like I don't really see, especially as a white person, any way to go around like talking about the atrocities of Islam without like in effect being someone who's like increasing fear and resentment of Muslims. So, I mean, obviously there's cases where you do kind of need to discuss religion. Like, if you're talking about like religiously motivated like homophobia or anti-abortion and all that stuff, like, you kind of do need to talk about the religious institutions that are there supporting this and encouraging these sentiments. But to say, I never go so far as to say I'm like against a particular religion, because like, what does that even mean? It's too vague a thing to be against. That's my current feeling about it anyway. Okay. Alejandro Herrera says, "Hey Natalie, it was so great to meet you and Theron at DragCon. Thanks for signing the Conquest of Bread and for making my parasocial delusions come true." You're welcome. It was nice to meet you too. I had so many questions to ask that I didn't get to ask in person because of anxiety. So, what did Dairy Queen do to you that you write them off as the butt of jokes? I just thought they just had a funny name. I like that, because originally I had Foppington talk about Dairy Queen because it's Dairy Queen. Got it. That's really it. And going off from your video on beauty, have you considered expanding on the points you made towards the end of that video, just on separate video focusing on the ethics of Western beauty standards, including the racism, influencers, and the obligatory exploitation of people of color and children by large multinational companies? I considered doing this video more about that, but like, I just found I didn't really have a whole lot to add. Like, I feel like the stuff we know. Like that's why instead of actually talking about that stuff at the end of the video, it's just like we know. Because I don't know. I feel like when it comes to like racist beauty standards, I'm not really the greatest spokesperson. And I guess I think that, I'm sorry, I just keep trying to get this hair to, it's part anxiety, part like trying to get the hair to have the perfect silhouette, which I know is a futile ongoing project. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I just ended up thinking that like what I had to bring to this conversation in terms of like entertainment and new information was more personal experience than it was like me rehashing the reasons why beauty standards are bad. And the cutaways from your talking could be an upbeat makeup tutorial a la Tiffany Tumbles. The concealer I'm using is excellent at hiding pores, scars, and large multinational corporations using children to mine the mineral mica in India to make lipstick, mascara, foundation, eyeliner, and lipstick, etc. It's also a justifiable way to bring out ways of seeing again. Well, I'm sure these topics will come up again. I don't think it's the last of beauty that we've heard about on this channel. Anyway, it was nice to meet you. Thanks for the questions. Emma Rangel says, hello Natalie, how many sessions of laser hair removal did you have for your face? I've had 2 and I feel like the hair just keeps growing faster. Thanks, and I hope you've been having an excellent day. Oh, at this point I've had what, like 10 sessions of laser on my face. I need to switch to electrolysis at this point, because what I have now is like the dark hair is basically gone. Like, 5 o'clock shadow canceled. Not really an issue for me at this point, but it's still a texture problem. Like, because I still have these little blonde hairs that grow on my face, and I'm just gonna have to get electrolysis for that because laser doesn't do blonde hairs. But to answer your question, I would say that you probably need at least 4 or 5 sessions before you really start noticing. It's a lot. Hair removal it's just a long ordeal, and you just have to accept that basically. As far as body hair, HRT does help a bit but with your face, it's really electrolysis and laser. That's it. You're stuck with it. Jessica Loganov says, hi Natalie, I hate to bug you again about the idea of doing a video on abortion, but I had a thought I wanted to share with you. Besides pro-lifers, there's another group that you can speak to / about. A lot of them hang out on Reddit, and they talk like the atheists of the early 2010s. I'm talking about men who are pro-choice, but only because they're sure a fetus is nothing. If you try to come at them with a point about women's bodily autonomy, they'll say, that's a bad argument, you should stick to talking about how a fetus has less cells than a houseplant. Have you encountered these people? I think so. I think that, well, there's kind of like 2 very different ways, right, to make the pro-abortion argument, right? One of them is to argue that a fetus has no moral standing whatsoever, so who cares? And then the other is to say that women have, there's the bodily autonomy argument, which says even if a fetus is a person, you still have the right to get it out of your body. I think different people have like different kind of like visceral responses to both arguments, but I think I see why it bothers you when people only want to talk about how a fetus isn't a person, because it seems like what you're saying is they're dismissing the importance of female bodily autonomy. I actually happen to know one of the major left tubers is working on a video on this topic, so I probably won't do that this month. I probably won't do a video on that for a while if I do one, but the good news for you is that there's a major left tuber who is working on it, and so there should be a big, because it's kind of an embarrassment, isn't it? There's not really a whole lot of left tube videos. There may not be any like big left tube videos on abortion at all. That's an embarrassment. Thankfully, one of them I happen to know is working on it, so I shall speak no more, but that's in the works. Okay, what am I? Rachel Domagowski says, "Hey Natalie, I don't have much of a question, just wanted to say that the beauty video was amazing. Thank you. I had FFS almost 3 years ago, and that video resonated with thoughts I've had about it, especially the part about beauty in academia. I dropped out of astrophysics grad school about 6 months ago. Anyway, I hope your recovery is going well. Actually thought of a question. When I had FFS, it took a while for me to get used to seeing my new face, even though it's way better than the old one. Was that the experience you've had?" The experience I've had so far is honestly mostly dominated by like my frustrations with this continued swelling. I have this swelling around my jaw that I feel like really ages in my face, and it really, like, I just keep looking at it in the monitor and like I don't stand. Like, I should just do this, because like what FFS has really done for me is that it's like I like my new profile. I never liked my profile before, but now I can actually look at myself in profile and not hate it. So in profile, I love the way I look, and I don't great, and I don't notice the swelling in profile. But if I turn around, like, now I can see this swelling right here. I don't like that. I know other people don't think they can notice the swelling, but like I can notice it. I just want my hair to be perfect. I want it to be pure. Okay. Yeah, I would say like at this point, like I'm so used to seeing my face just like bandaged and swollen that I just want to see something normal, you know? That's my experience. It's not that like the changes that I see in profile. Oh, I'm like immediately like no trouble getting used to that. Like I like the changes right away, but in the front, the swelling just drives me crazy. Okay. Yeah. How do you guys not see this? You absolutely can see the swelling. Okay. What am I doing? Lena Colada says, "Hey Natalie, hope you are well." Thank you. Did you enjoy DragCon? Any highlights you want to share with us? Yeah, I did. I was having kind of like some rough personal issues at the time, but like I did have, there were good moments. I would say the highlight for me is going, I went to see I don't know if because we were an exhibitor or what, but we got a VIP invite to see Sasha Velour's new Smoke and Mirrors show premiere, and it was such a beautiful performance. It made me cry, and like we had our VIP invite, so we were in there, and like I was with Thera, and we were in line for drinks, and right in front of us in line is Gigi Gorgeous with Hannah and Mamrie Hart. And I mean, I was just gonna play it cool and be all LA about it and say nothing, but Theron was like, no. So she like got Gigi's attention. It was like, she's a huge fan of you, and I was like, hi Gigi, I love your videos. And Gigi was like, okay, like you know, but yeah, it was funny. I the lesson I think is that I really need to stop. I really need to stop making shrines to people, because I always end up meeting them within like months after making this shrine, and it's always super awkward. Like Gigi obviously had no idea who I was, which is probably for the best. Where's my goddamn vodka? Oh, Adam Converse here. Hey, Adam. How are you? How are you? My hair. I'm gonna get my vodka. Oh yeah, I'll be right back. Do you remember last month when I was like, I'm not drinking anymore? Well, that's over now. Madam Conover in the house. Okay, what do we have here? We have 0 sugar infusions, cucumber and lime. ASMR drink mixing. I feel like the word ASMR is really overused lately. Like, not everything that makes sounds is ASMR. I say as I'm the one fully encouraging this. I'm being fully trashed tonight, guys. Don't you judge me. Don't you dare judge me. This is my stream. I'll drink what I want. God damn it. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay. Okay. My hair is just it's just an eternal struggle. It's like Sisyphus pushing the goddamn rock up my scalp. Okay. We did Rachel, we did Lena. Samantha Cornelia says, hi Natalie, I just finished my PhD in linguistics last year, and your discussions of / experiences in academia, why you left, beauty in academia, etc. have rung so true for me. I think a lot about ways to reform academia as I struggle to find a tenure track job, and I'm wondering what reforms you might think are necessary in academia. Thanks so much. Well, the biggest thing I would change, if I could change academia, is in especially humanities fields, I would completely change the emphasis so that it was on teaching instead of research. Because here's the thing, like, even in science where the research actually matters, oh boy, here comes the rant. Even in science where the research actually matters, like, the skills that make a person a good researcher don't necessarily make a good teacher. And in fact, often they're the opposite skills. And I think that it's especially criminal in the humanities, English, literatures, philosophy, like, where the research, I'm sorry, we don't need new books about Emily Dickinson. We don't need new books about Heidegger. These things don't matter. What matters is teaching them well to students. Like, and like, so to prioritize who can publish the most articles about Sartre or whatever. Who cares? like all the emphasis should be on teaching. And if you want to write a book about it, that's a side benefit as far as I'm concerned. Like, how many people read the average philosophy paper? Not very many. How many people stand to be benefited from actually learning logic and things like that? So many. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the hubris, the audacity of these people, right? These professors, they think that what they do matters. Well, it doesn't matter, but the part that matters is not what they think. It's not the egotistical part. The part that matters is teaching. That's my rant. I look like a drag queen. Wednesday LaRocha loves that you popped Ezra Klein's ASMR chair, he says. Wow, what a name. Wednesday, your names are really lit, I believe is the word. Hey Nat, so Mother's Day was earlier this month, and in belated celebration, I gotta ask you, who's the best mom? The mom from Antichrist, not her felt the baby fell out the window. The mom from the Babadook, If her pain in the ass kid would just go to bed, we could have avoided this mess. The mom from Hereditary, whose miniature is fucking rocked. Or the mom from The Witch. Stupid daughter lost her goddamn baby, and her worthless asshole husband was forsaken by God. She got to a pretty level head, all things considered. I'm gonna have to say that the best mom in history, in cinema history, is... I'm gonna say the mom from the Babadook. She like overcame her demons. She locked her depression in the basement and fed it worms just for her kid. Okay, she tried to murder her child with a knife. Well, who hasn't? I stand. Oh, I stand. Should the Babadook be allowed at Pride? The answer is yes. Okay, Chefy Fishy says, "Hi Natalie, do you do a lot of philosophy reading in your free time? I'm interested in learning more, particularly regarding gender studies. Any book recommendations? Preferably someone without an academic background in philosophy." Well, the short answer to your question is no. I stopped reading philosophy. You know, I know at some point I will have to go back to it because I'll get too stupid if I don't. But I kind of don't read that much stuff like that because I spent my whole 20s doing it, and so now I'm kind of like over it, and I just want to live my life and be happy. Now at some point, like I said, I'll become too much of a dum-dum and I'll have to go back to reading. But yeah, if you want something that's accessible, those like little like a very short introduction to whatever, like those are usually written by experts in a field, and they're written to be accessible. See if you can find a very short introduction to gender studies or queer theory or whatever it is you want. I haven't read those, but I remember those like little books were useful for other topics like that. So you could give it a try, especially if you're like me, you don't have a whole lot of time to sift through Judith Butler. Hopefully that's helpful. If someone who's literate would like to answer the question in the comments, feel free. Aziz Chen says, "Hey girl, hope you had fun at DragCon. Assuming you watched Drag Race, who's your favorite queen? And why is it Tammy Brown?" Like my favorite queen of all time? Or favorite season 11? You can't answer me. Why am I asking you? Well, some queens I historically stan are Katya. I love Jinx Monsoon because I'm a cis woman. I loved Evie so much this season. I stan. Getting happy just thinking about it. Alicia Crawford says, this one is shortish. Have you ever watched the web series People Watching on Cracked? If so, what did you think? Also, as an aside, okay, so first of all, I have not watched the web series People Watching. I should watch that. I like People Watching in real life. I'm sure that has nothing to do with the series. As an aside, there's definitely a part of that community that totes stands you. Oh, that's exciting. Happy FFS recovery, Natalie of the Veil. That Magic the Gathering card needs to happen now. I don't know what you're talking about, but thank you. Thank you for wishing me well. The recovery, I'm almost 2 months post-op. And, really about ready for the swelling to go away. I'm looking at the chat where someone says they saw Katya in Little Tokyo. Yeah, that would grab me too. Well, I saw a lot of like queens in person at the con, obviously. And like something like, I'm not usually someone who gets like super starstruck, but something about like drag queens, they're so larger than life already that when you see them in real life, you're like, like it's like, oh god, like like seeing Trixie Mattel just like standing there like you can't even believe it. It's like seeing Zeus, you know? Like it's like, oh my god, like that's a person. Like or I guess the one that actually got me the most was I was just like walking down the aisle and Latrice motherfucking Royale walks right past me and she's like first of all superhuman in size and also just in majesty. And I was just like I got like a shiver on my body. Like I was like it was like literally like it was literally like I don't know, like Aphrodite just appeared and walked down the hallway. Okay, let's see, what are we doing here? Yeah, I don't know Magic the Gathering. One of you nerds can teach me. Okay. Christina S says, "Hi Natalie, just pronounced my name as Christina. I did it right. I did it right, Christina. I did it. The idea of subordinating myself to a corporation has always bothered me to some extent, but since I've become a leftist, I identified as a liberal before, this has only increased. I'm a team leader and I often have a hard time with this as management's expectations of what I should do, or should say do, and how I should treat and manage colleagues are often at odds with my values. I've worked at several companies and have not found one that truly cared for its people. And even though this company is a lot better than my previous workplaces, it is still guilty of often looking at people only as resources, not human beings. My question is, how do I keep my job so that I can earn money to live, but avoid constant conflict with my boss and management figures? Thank you." Well, it kind of depends. I mean, the thing is, like, if you work for a corporation, you do kind of just have to accept that, like, you're like mildly complicit with evil, which, okay, who isn't? I mean, we all live in a society, right? And so, you know, you have to live and function and pay bills and things like that. And that means doing things that are contributing things, at least, that you may not really morally want to contribute to. Someone in the chat says, "Kill your boss." Kill your boss. No, you can't actually kill your boss. So I would say, it's like kind of up to you to decide where the line is. Like, how much can you personally tolerate? Like, if you're being asked to do things that are just so like you just can't stand it, then live on the streets. I don't know, or yeah, unionize. See, I don't know what to say to this because like I've escaped. Because I've worked. Well, I've never really worked. I've never really had any power at a corporation. I've been a peon. I've never really had any power until now. But fortunately, I'm independent enough at YouTube that I can sort of delude myself into thinking I'm a good person. But yeah, that's a struggle. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Because you're really the only one who can draw your personal moral line. I hope they're not asking you to like bomb children or whatever. If it's just like, yeah, wanting to treat your colleagues as disposable, yeah, that's shitty. Yeah, start a union. That sounds hard, but if you're out to it, start a union. Sure. I feel good about saying that. Especially since I don't have to do any work because it's not my problem. Jamie McKenna says, "Hi Natalie, I'd like to know what you think of Mike Gravel. His campaign is really trans-friendly, and he's been my political hero for quite a while. You look beautiful." Thanks, Jamie. I actually don't know anything about that person. I'm not. Is this like a presidential candidate? Yes. I have not been following the primaries very closely. It's Gravel. Leviosa. Leviosa, not it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. You guys are funny. You guys are so funny. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have opinions. Because I'm politically illiterate by choice, because here's the thing. When 2020 rolls around, I'm gonna get involved. I'm gonna get in there. But I just will lose my mind if I'm already doing primary stuff now. You know? You guys are funny. Thanks, Jamie. Edward says, is FinDom a waste of money? Why is BDSM fun? So the question, so in case people don't know what FinDom is allowing someone to demand that you pay all their money and give them all the gifts just for sexual exhilaration a waste of money? That depends on what price you pay on sexual exhilaration, Edward. And only you can make that decision. Why is BDSM fun? Because pain is fun. Because life is like full of power imbalance and life is full of pain. And taking control out of that, and taking some level of control of that, and stealing pleasure from the pain is enjoyable, it's empowering, and it's sexy. And I won't apologize for it. Jack Austin Vincent says, hey Natalie, was wondering what some of your favorite live music things you've been to. What are some of your favorite live music things you've been to? Also wanted to say, loved how you used face shopping in the last video since I love Sophie's album so much. Keep doing what you're doing. It's great. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, that's a good question. What are the best live music things I have seen? I've seen a lot of great live jazz, believe it or not. Well, because I've lived in Chicago for years, and now I live in Baltimore, which is near DC. So, who's the best? I don't know. I haven't been to that many like big concerts. It's like not something I really do. It's like a lot of people. I don't know if I can handle that. But yeah, jazz is kind of like low key and pretentious enough that I can kind of blend in. Adam Neely. Not only have I seen Adam Neely live, I have jammed with Adam Neely multiple times. Which is kind of weird. I saw... Have I seen music ever? I've never seen music. I don't know what music is. That's not true. I saw Herbie Hancock. He's amazing. The piano player. I really want to see Kim Petras. Because I'm just a 19-year-old happy baby bouncy bio girl who stands Kim Petras. Can't you see? Okay. Christopher Round says, based on your experience with your own videos and what you've generally seen, do you think there is space for a left-angled climate change and environmental justice YouTube channel? Do you think such a thing could gain some traction? I'm a scientist and climate policy analyst who, inspired by your work, was thinking of entering the space. So it depends what you mean. Depends how much traction you want. You can absolutely get a few thousand views a video making solid educational videos about climate change. To get like 100,000 views a video, to do that, you've got to be doing entertainment. That's my experience anyway. There's very few like pure educators who really are capable of pulling that many views. Can you make climate change entertaining? It's hard. I know because I've tried. That said, a few thousand people is not, that's, you know, if your video gets 20,000 views, that's Madison Square Garden sold out. So that maybe that's enough of an audience for you. uh, and so is there room for that? Yeah, I definitely think there is. Especially if you can like summarize topics related to global warming like really concisely. That's helpful. If you can debunk global warming denialist talking points concisely, I can see that taking off. Emma Tolkien, did I laugh at you before? You're just Emma's just making me laugh tonight. What's more entertaining than the world being on fire? Yeah, exactly. Drama channel. Call it climate change tea. Scalding. Woland says, or Voland. Are you a Norse dragon or are you I'm sorry. Oh my god, stop playing with your hair, you asshole. Voland says, what are the audio tracks that played during Lady Fobbington's appearances in the last video? One of them has been in several of her previous scenes. Let me figure it out for you right now, Voland. It is. Let me just play it for you right now. Why isn't it? No. iTunes, why are you not working? Why are you doing this to me? Sorry. I'll calm down. I'm gonna calm down, guys. I need to take it down a notch. I know. Like this. Here we go. That's what you're talking about, right? That is the Jig from Bach's Suite in C minor. And that's the scene that's the music in the Fobbington scenes. And I use it again. There's another part of it that's faster that I use in this video. This part. Ooh, it's so pretty. This is also tagged M. Oh wait, isn't it like MW? Isn't it BWV, not MWV? 997 is the number that you want. It's the filthiest music, someone says. It's pretty fucking filthy. Skulltastic. I love you guys. I'm just like... I'm just feeling it, guys. Music the powder your wig by. You guys are funny. You guys are so funny. We should hang out. We should totally hang out. Alright, it's enough of that. I remember when I used to use this music in my videos. Crazy. Okay. Nate Wright says, what are your thoughts on trans exclusionary policies for military service and criticisms of pro-trans military policy? For example, if it's not a military necessity, then why allow trans people to serve? Because trans people already serve, is the answer. Like, there's tons of trans people in the military. In fact, it's one of the #1 employers of trans people. So, basically to say, like, actually, get out. Like, it's literally nothing but discrimination. It's literally, you know, in discrimination, it's literally just, like, it's a Republican scheme to get points from, like, bigots. Just, you know what I mean? Like, there's like, so many trans people in the military. And they're fine. They're doing fine. It's fine. This is fine. I mean, obviously none of it's fine. America's really transphobic and the American military is a terrible, terrible organization. But like, it's for a lot of trans people, like one of the only employers that they can get that will employ them. And so to be like, get out trans people, that's horrible for them. And it's also just like, the point is just fuck trans people, right? Like that's the real gesture that's being made here. So, you know, this is clear. Like, it's not like Trump. It's not like Donald Trump was like, you know what? as a great military strategist, I think these trans people are slowing things down. No, he doesn't know. He doesn't, like, he just wants to performatively say "f you" to the trans to win points with bigots. Okay, those are my very nuanced opinions about that. You guys are funny. We should hang out. Blake Lemoine. Blake Lemoine. Oh my god, your last name is gonna entertain me for like 5 minutes here. Lemoine. Lemoine. Do you really feel obligated to do what the world needs rather than what you want? Or is that just a joke? If it wasn't just a joke, why do you feel that way? I guess I feel obligated to make a YouTube channel that's about topics that are just not just like my personal navel gazing, much as I would love to do that. Because I feel like I also want to, you know, I don't know. I feel like people are more interested if I can kind of connect these, you know, if I want to talk about my personal life, it's more interesting if I can connect my personal life to something bigger than that, you know? So it's not entirely a joke. Like I do actually kind of want to moderate my most selfish impulses, or my most, like, you know what I mean, like self-centered impulses when it comes to the content that I make, because I think it is kind of tempting to just, but I also do feel this kind of struggle that, like, sorry guys, I just want to take a moment to appreciate that I finally got my hair to look right. Like, this is it. This is what I was trying to achieve this whole night, and it's here. I'm just not gonna move. I'm gonna hold very still. Okay, so like, as I've changed in the last 3 years, making like anti-Nazi content, and as society has changed too, like making anti-Nazi content is not as appealing as it was. But I constantly get interviewed about it. Like, it's the only thing journalists want to talk to me about. Is like, tell us about how you're a great resource for racist white men. And I'm just like, I mean, I'm glad you guys are talking to me. I'm glad you're talking about this, but like, I just hate how like journalists don't want to talk to me unless they're talking to me in a way that centers the feelings of racist men. You know, they don't care. Journalists do not care about what trans people in my audience think, or what women in my audience. Do you guys realize that, like, my audience is like 50% female, or very close to 50% female now? No one ever asked me what the women who watch me think. No, they don't want to talk about what racist 19-year-old boys think. Everyone's just obsessed with the racist 19-year-old boys, and they only want to talk about them because they're the most important people in the world, apparently. No one else's feelings count. I get frustrated by this. It's frustrating. I don't like it. But, whatever. At least they're talking to me. It's fine. It's fine. Guys, I have to pee. Guys, I have to pee. Do you guys want to listen? What music do you guys want to listen to? Well, I patter my nose. I guess I should probably keep it creative. I should probably keep it royalty free so I don't get the stream removed or whatever. I'm just gonna give you louder this. Be right back. Oh my god, you guys in the goddamn bread. The music, by the way, is Home. Okay, I'm back. Hello, everyone. That's Victoria Wiggins. She does that. Hello, everyone. She also says, hello, so what is it? Boys, girls, and non-binary squirrels. Oh my god, I love her intros. I love Victoria Wiggins. She's the greatest person who ever lived. Hello, busy cats. Oh my god, the bread posting is out of control. Do you guys remember when I used to like get really drunk and just stream like all the time? That was fun. We had fun. We should have fun again. Let's have fun. Okay. Where were we? We did trans-military policy. We did what the world needs rather than what the world wants. We did not do Anna Marie. Anna Marie says, "Hey Nat, thanks for the newest video. Helped me out a lot. This month, if you would, please list your most problematic faves. The people whose lives you can't help but keep following, no matter how bad they act. Much appreciated." Anna, why are you trying to get me in trouble? Are you trying to get me in trouble? Are you trying to get me to be bad? Let's be bad. Yeah, what do I, the problematic people I stand? How honest do I want? Here's the thing. Here's a fact about me that I think will pretty well illustrate one, my intelligence, and two, my relationship with problematic people. There in the last few weeks was this major drama, probably heard about it, in beauty YouTube, involving James Charles and Tati Westbrook. Now, I spent some time thinking about this and laughing at how silly it was, but the ultimate outcome of it was that I have purchased hair vitamins, which is what Tati sells, and which was what James Charles was using, and what sparked this whole thing. So, that's how much of an idiot I am. Is that there's a major drama on beauty YouTube about hair vitamins, and my response to that is to be like, you know what? Maybe I do need some hair vitamins. Now you might be wondering, did I buy the Halo Beauty hair vitamins, or did I buy the Sugar Bear hair vitamins? In other words, whose side am I on? Well, bitches, I bought both, just in case. Like, I'm the perfect rube, like the perfect mark for these people, because I'll just do anything they say. I should take some now. I'll take them next time I get up. Just, you know, just in case. Look how much lipstick I got on this goddamn straw. It's so gross. Okay. Anna Marie, I hope that was an adequate answer to your question. I am absolutely a vitamin centrist. That's not only is that my political identity, not only is it my gender identity, vitamin centrist is my biological sex. Yeah. Okay. I'm just very crazy tonight. Ah! Oh my god, the hair, it's out of control. It's out of control. Do you guys realize you stan a crazy person? Don Saavedra says, what do you feel is the most important thing you learned and or taken with you from your time studying philosophy? I can actually give a good answer to that question. I think the most important thing that I got out of studying philosophy is the ability to see an argument that seems really, really outlandish, and then force myself to take it seriously and to draw other conclusions from that argument. In other words, to try to put myself in the worldview of a person who, even though they're extremely, extremely intelligent, just sees things completely differently from me. So, like, that's what you do, like, when you're studying ancient philosophy, right? You read Aristotle, and Aristotle believes all these, like, wacky things, but he's a genius, you know? So, part of what it means to read Aristotle and to write papers about Aristotle and to engage with Aristotle is to, like, look at the world through Aristotle vision. And doing that teaches you a kind of intellectual empathy that allows you to kind of try to understand why other people think that the way they think they think. Because usually when people argue, like, about politics or whatever, they're I'd say very low on intellectual empathy, because they, you know, they see another person who they disagree with, and they hear the things they say, and they just think, well, you're fucking stupid, or well, you're just evil, you know. Well, that's a little bit lazy, right? Because sometimes people are just ignorant or just lazy or just, you know, bigoted, sure, but it's still good in terms of being a person who, like, argues with this stuff in public to kind of try to, like, at least feel experimentally where they're coming from, right? It's a kind of, like, psychological or social experiment that you do, right? Like, where you kind of put yourself in their perspective and take a look around at things, you know, and that helps you kind of communicate with a person whose views are very different from yours. That, I think, is a skill that's very, in particular, something you gain from studying academic philosophy. I think that it's something that most people don't have, and it's something that, you know, as exasperating as I find philosophy grad students, they're a group of people who, like, you can sit down with them and be like, so what do you guys think about cannibalism? Is cannibalism okay? Is cannibalism wrong? And instead of being fucking horrified, like most of the world would be, they instead all immediately perk up and they go, well, let's talk through this. Let's see. I mean, it depends what kind of cannibalism. Where is this human meat coming from? Where is the source? Like, what is it? What are your beliefs around it? Like, they're willing to fully, like, enter into this ludicrous notion, you know? I love that. I love that about them. That's the one thing I love about philosophy people, is their stance on cannibalism. There's no ethical consumption under cannibalism. Okay. This is a good cut crease, I mean, by my standards. I'm trying to close my eyes and look at my eyes while they're closed. Great. It's not that good. I could still, there's room for improvement. I have trouble getting, like, a really sharp line with a concealer. As you can see, it's still a little, like, not quite in the right spot. It looks good when my eyes are open, but when I close them, you can see that there's problems. I want sharper cut creases, god damn it. Okay. That's not what the question was. We're getting distracted here. So that was Dawn's question. Alice says, hi Natalie, in the spirit of Justine's focus on political aesthetics, I created a survey to judge the campaign logos of all the Democrats running for president. I'd love to hear your take on which candidates are killing it and which should have gotten a second opinion. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay. Michael Bennett. Bennett for America is terrible. Let me just do a quick glance at all of that, and I'll go through it. There's a lot of these. I'm just looking and looking and looking. Okay, let's all go through. If you guys want to find the link on Patreon, We're all going to go through these together. Okay, Bennett for America. It looks like the sign on a gas station. Joe Biden. My intense dislike of Joe Biden is going to interfere with my aesthetic judgment here. I think actually the logo is pretty good. It's kind of cute. De Blasio. Hate it. Green is an interesting choice. That's not usually in American political candidate slogans. It just looks like the logo of a like computer from 1999. Like Intel inside, there should be that next to this logo. Corey 2020. This looks like it was designed in about 4 minutes. I hate it. Bullock. Steve Bullock. Okay, this is it's fine. It's boring though. Pete Buttigieg. This looks weirdly like I'm just getting like sports vibes. I don't know how you feel about that. Really, if we're gonna have the first gay president and he's gonna have a campaign logo that looks like a sports team? I don't like that. I don't care for this. Julian Castro. Hate it. I think it's okay. It's fine. I feel like there should be some like, I don't know. There should be some red in here. If you want to go for America. I feel like that blue is too dark. Then it's like a really dark blue and a light blue. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know. Why is the accent over the A? Like, I don't know. John Delaney. Okay, really, really kind of a classic American slogan. It's fine. It's boring, but it's fine. Tulsi Gabbard. Ooh, sunburst. That's interesting. I kind of like that. I stand. Kirsten Gillibrand. Okay, pink. Interesting. I like the pink. I don't know if I like this, like, I don't know if I like the overall design. It's just kind of awkward to me. Like 2020 Gillibrand. Like, why is Gillibrand is in front of 2020? I just don't understand the geometry, but I like the pink. I think like it's kind of that like bright magenta is very like yes, I am a woman, and yes, I'm running for president, and I stand. Mike Gravel. It's fine. Kamala Harris for the people. Hate it. I don't like this yellow. Yeah. John Hickenlooper. Okay, points for being named Hickenlooper. But I hate these, like... Is this supposed to be the American flag being, like, mountains? I don't care that you're from Colorado, Hickenlooper. The rest of us don't give a shit about your goddamn mountains. Jay Inslee. Again, hate it. Why is it a computer logo from 1999? Intel inside. Get out. Amy Klobuchar. Green again. No. Wayne Messam. Wayne for America. Okay, so we've got like a kind of blue to darker blue gradient over Wayne. So it's you're going with your first name. I guess it's more relatable than Messam. It's just kind of boring. Seth Moulton. Okay, classic. I kind of like the star that's a compass. I stand. Beto for America. It looks like a diner. Tim Ryan. Again, about the most boring imaginable slogan. Bernie Sanders. I mean, this is already iconic. Like, I love the Bernie logo. It's we stand. Eric Swalwell. Go big, be bold, do good. Hate it. Elizabeth Warren. It's just the word Warren underlined. Okay. Marianne Williamson. Marianne 2020. Again with the pink on it. I kind of like that. Kind of weird. Andrew Yang. Yang 2020. I'm not quite getting a Y from that. It's sort of long. If I didn't know it was Yang, I mean, I guess it was Oh wait, I was supposed to actually be rating these, and I didn't rate them at all. I'm sorry. Well, I think I've spent enough time rating campaign slogans. Okay. Cat Moan says, "Why are you so damn awesome?" I don't know, Cat. Why? Why do you think I'm awesome? It's because this. I'm not sure I am awesome. I don't know. Sounds debatable. I can't believe that's a meme. Sounds debatable. How's that a meme? Okay, we need more music. Okay. Norris Rediger says, honest question, is deplatforming bigots attainable? Is it? Oh my gosh, I'm drooling. Oh god. Don't look. Everyone look away. My lip is still kind of like a little bit numb, so I just have a drooling problem. I'm sorry. Okay. Deplatforming, is it attainable? Is it dangerous as censorship is to do so? Well, I think it depends on the context. Like, I think there's situations, like, I think on camp, like, there's, like, Richard Spencer should not be speaking on a single campus in America. There's just no reason for that. Now, I do get kind of nervous about the social media deplatforming thing. You know, Alex Jones has been banned from, like, everything at this point, right? YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, like, so on the one hand, are these platforms better off without Alex Jones? Oh, way better. But here's what makes me nervous. Do I want like Twitter or Facebook or Google to be the ones deciding what political opinions are allowed? Not particularly, no. That does make me nervous. Yeah, so I have ambivalent feelings, Norris. Caleb Romo says, "Hi mom, it's Caleb, as though you aren't so famous now that it's useless trying to remember us individually." Caleb Romo, your name sounds very familiar. I know I've seen you. You've been on Patron for a long time, haven't you? Yeah. You have. Both of my questions may be my spectrum showing and taking things too literally, so let me know if I'm way off mark or being too nosy. 1. In your most recent video, Beauty, you seemed to be teasing the idea of a beauty makeup style fashion channel testing the waters. Would you ever start a second channel along those lines? Would doing so mean the end to the ContraPoints channel persona? I think if I were to start a YouTube channel now, I had never done YouTube before and was just like starting on YouTube now, I might start a much more generic kind of like trans girl channel. That might be about that kind of thing. But considering that I've already like built this like whole political philosophy empire, no, it's not happening. I'm gonna keep the thing I made, even if I did make it in man mode. I didn't exactly make it in man mode. I had the idea in man mode, but I've kept it going throughout my transition. Sometimes I feel like I'm like riding on residual male privilege or something. In part because the only thing journalists want to talk to me about is like stuff I did before I transitioned. But yeah, the ContraPoints is not going anywhere. Question 2. In your video, Are Traps Gay? Near the end you say, paraphrase, a real man isn't ashamed of the women he loves. So by that measure, I'm still more of a man than you. Was that a generic you, and or was there someone in particular you were anonymously calling out? It was a generic you. I don't have anyone in particular. I wish so. That would be like fantastic rhetorical vengeance if there was a particular guy I was mad at. But no, it was just you, the man. Okay, convicted Nazi puncher Scarlet Crow says, "Congrats on your FFS. Thanks, Scarlet. Did you check out any particularly bizarre movies or any of the ones I suggested while you were healing up?" On a more serious note, I'll answer that question first. What did I watch? I watched a bunch of movies when I was healing. I watched Death Becomes Her, which I knew I wanted to watch that because of plastic surgery stuff. I watched God, I watched so much Chris Fleming, the YouTuber Chris Fleming, the Gale series, the Car Rats, Show Pig. I watched it all. I love Chris Fleming, and he follows me on Twitter. I'm like, I love him so much, guys. I don't even know what to do with these feelings. Yeah, he's great. I watched I kind of went through a generic like femme movie list. I watched Legally Blonde. I watched Devil Wears Prada. I watched the Sofia Coppola Marie Antoinette movie, which kind of inspired the look for Lady Fovington in the last video. What else did I watch? A lot of Jenny Nicholson videos, a lot of Victoria Wiggins videos, a lot of Lindsay Ellis videos. This is kind of my bread and butter. Did I watch anything weird? I know I watched something fucked up and weird. No, it was just basic white girl culture. I love Jenny Nicholson. She's so good. It's kind of weird because I last year, I hadn't watched that many of Jenny's videos, and like I hung out with her a lot last year, and now I'm this like huge stan, and I'm like, I had no idea what I had when I was hanging out with her last year, because like she made that video, that like 90-minute video about the Avatar theme park. I was there. I went to the Avatar theme park with Jenny Nicholson so that she could make a video about it, and I didn't appreciate what I had. I love Jenny Nicholson. Her videos are so good. Ugh. Okay, what's next? Okay. Wow, I guess a little sidetracked there. On a more serious, this is back to Scarlet Crow. On a more serious note, are you familiar with the story of the first legally recognized non-binary person, Jamie Shoup, and how they've since detransitioned and wrote a very turvy article saying it was a sham? Yes. I'm aware. I follow their their Twitter account. No, I don't follow it. I just saw someone linked it to me because they said like my non-binary identity was a sham. Autogynephilia was to blame, as it so often is. Yeah, I'm familiar. Well, good for him. Lastly, how do you like the acronym FART? Feminism appropriating reactionary transphobe over turf. Seems a little juvenile. I think turf is just fine. Why do we need a new one? Jennifer Palmer says, "Hi, Natalie. Ding. Out of anywhere you've traveled or visited in your life, what was one of your favorite places and why?" That's a good question. I really like London because I like food and I like pretty things. I went to Edinburgh a few months ago, and that was probably the most beautiful place I've been, because I haven't been to like real Europe, which is so stupid. The Avatar theme park, yeah, the most magical place on earth. I've been in Jenny Nicholson's apartment. And I've seen the bed with the porgs. I gotta stop standing. You can't stand on people you actually know. Oh my god, I want to like. There is something magical about seeing like a YouTuber's apartment, right? Because like you see like, you get to connect all the dots. Okay, what happened to my music? I think that's enough. That's enough answers for Jennifer. Yeah, I want to go to Europe. Where should I go in Europe, guys? Leave a comment telling me where I should go in Europe. I might do. Maybe I'll do a house tour at this point. Oh, when I show people like who know my videos, when I show these people who know my videos my apartment, it's just like it kind of blows their mind because like basically like all of this apartment has been on camera at some point. And it's like the layout's always very different than they expect, and everything's smaller than they expect. Like the room with the wallpaper where I film everything is really tiny, and I make it look bigger, but it's actually really small. Okay, Anand Krishna says, "Hi Natalie, I've been feeling the need to do something active to influence the political landscape positively for a while now, and supporting like you doesn't seem to be enough. Do you have any tips for making good content on logical and productive argumentation without investing fully in the content creator lifestyle?" It is a dark lifestyle. I want to say, stay at my job and in touch with other time commitments, while still occasionally putting out some hopefully valuable content. Thanks a ton for all your work, by the way. Thanks, Anand. I would say, what I would do if I were in your situation is I would make, like, high quality content every once in a while. So I would like choose a topic I really care about, spend a long time like thinking about it and working on it, and then make a like a big video about it that like people could like link other people to. So in other words, instead of making like really, it sort of depends on like what you want to do and like what your work like, you know, because at this point for me, I'm imagining like what if I had a job and I had to do a job to support ContraPoint, my ContraPoints habit. Like, I think what I would do is do a video every like 2 or 3 months and just really focus on, you know, make each video really count, instead of making like a lot of like low effort videos once a week or whatever. But that's just my preference, you know. It's kind of something that you have to figure out, like what exactly it is you want to do on YouTube. Okay, thanks, Anand. That wannabe thought Julia says, "Hi, hi. Can you look at the 2 linked photos, one with 2 photos, and give me beauty and passing tips? MTF." Oh, you're playing a dangerous game here, Julia. "And give me advice on what works and what doesn't work. If I don't pass visually, please let me know, and please don't hugbox me. Also, for reference, I'm not an HRT yet. Also, your surgery results are phenomenal. I don't know how to link stuff, so I guess I can copy and paste both Twitter posts." Thanks, Julia. Thanks in advance. All right. I know some of the audience are not gonna be down with this, but Julia, I'm gonna take the bait. So, okay, there's one. Yeah, so here's the thing, Julia. Based on these pictures, to me, you look like you pass. But passing, the thing of passing is that it's like an inherently like 3-dimensional, multi-sensory, and ultimately subjective thing. So, like I said, in those, based on the pictures you sent, like you look like you passed me. And if you started HRT, then you would definitely pass. But it's hard for me to really give you a full, honest thing unless I hear what your voice sounds like and like see you in a physical presence. Like I think in some ways, I mean, like, I think I probably pass better online in a sense than I do in person because I'm so fucking tall that it's like suspicious, you know? But I think that I understand. I mean, like I said, like I understand that why you're asking me this because like it's something that I've often been curious about myself, and like it's something that I've gotten less anxious about though. Like lately, I find myself just caring less and less about passing, and part of it is that I've just gotten more secure in my womanhood. Like I know who I am. I know what I am to the people around me that matter to me, and so if I'm not passing every second of every day, who cares? Like, that's not, now I say that from some degree of privilege because getting misgendered is not really a problem I have these days. And I probably, if I was getting misgendered when I wasn't trying or whatever, I'm sure I wouldn't like that. So, but yeah, like the thing about those Reddits, like what is it, like the passing transgender subreddit, like you can't actually tell if someone's passes just from looking at a single picture from one angle. You asked also for beauty advice. A little concealer, I would say. Keep growing your hair out, it's gonna look great. You look like you're gonna be good though. For what it's worth. Okay. Brooke Toller says, "Hey girl, hey, how did you decide who to go for FFS? Also, if you're willing to share, who did you go to for FFS?" Basically, do I want to say who I went to? Am I legally allowed to say who I went to? I think I am. I went to Spiegel in Boston, like so many of my YouTube predecessors. How did I decide? One, celebrities. That's how it led me to Spiegel in the first place. Was Gigi and Steph Sanyati and, however many others. But what made me decide to go with him was that at the consultation, I felt like we sort of immediately agreed on aesthetic goals. And I thought that that's what I wanted. You don't want to feel like you have to convince your surgeon to do what you want it to do. And you don't want to feel like the surgeon is trying to persuade you to do stuff that you don't want to do. So, like, I have a friend who went to Spiegel and, like, they didn't feel that same way. So she didn't go with him. So I would say it's definitely a matter of, like, if you go to the surgeon, you talk to the surgeon, like, do you feel like you agree right away on like what your goals are? Like, are you both seeing the same things that need to be changed? If you're not, go to a different surgeon, because you don't want to talk them into having to do what you want them to do. You don't want to have to get them to work to see things the way that you see them. That said, Spiegel, oh my god, he's fucking expensive. So I probably wouldn't have gone to him if I weren't like, in this like influencer position where it seems not unreasonable to spend like a large portion of my income on plastic surgery. And where I have that income to begin with. He has a protege, Spiegel, whom I met in Boston, who mentioned wanting to start a practice in Washington, D.C. So in the next few years, you can keep an eye out for that, because he's likely to be much cheaper when he starts. Just some insider tips. Okay. Stephen Carter. Wait, I did Brooke, right? Stephen Carter says, "Hey Natalie, love your work. Your videos are amazing." Thanks, Stephen. I have mentioned you to pretty much all my friends, dates, coworkers. I know you're not a huge fan of explaining the symbolism, metaphors, etc. that you use in your videos, but when I showed you your pronouns video to my best friend, He liked it up until the flag burning. Sorry if this is something you've discussed in previous AMAs / elsewhere, I'm sort of new. He felt it was rather polarizing imagery for some people. Personally, I don't really care. I didn't really understand the context of it and want to be able to better explain it. If it's brought up by any other of my friends that watch that video. Okay, so, please keep making videos. FFS results look amazing. Love your past video. All the best and much love. Thanks, Steven. Yeah, so why did she burn the flag? Well, Lenora LeVay is a classic 90s edgelord of the Marilyn Manson variety, right? Like, that's what she does. Sex, drugs, burning the flag, setting her father on fire, cannibalism, like anything for shock value. That's her personality. She's an edgy Satanist. And she shows up on screen right after, I don't remember the script exactly, but I believe it cuts back to Lenora LeVay, like right after I say something about freedom of speech, because the whole like pronouns argument is supposed to be like these crazy transgender leftists are erasing our freedom of speech by forcing us to use the right pronouns. Well, if those, in a way, it's kind of a hypocrisy litmus test, right? Because if those same people are bothered by flag burning, why do you hate freedom? Would be Lenora LeVay's response. Yeah, Lenora also tells the audience to go to hell. She's just an offensive edge lady. Okay. Alan Gonzalez says, it was great seeing you at DryCon. My mouthfeel fan looks great on my desk at work. I'm glad. How was the experience overall? Something like that seems incredibly intimidating to me, meeting so many people in such a short time. Would you want to do it again? Yeah, it was kind of exhausting. Like, I actually like meeting lots of people and like having my photo taken again and again. Like, I actually can't do it for that long. And so I sort of was not on the floor as much as I kind of feel like I should have been in some ways, because I just needed to take a lot of breaks from that, because I'm actually like a shy person when it comes right down to it. But I'm really glad I went, because I do like meeting people, and I do like meeting my fans, and even though it sometimes tires me out after a while. And I also just liked seeing what DragCon was about, just like as an experience. So yeah, I would say basically I have positive feelings. I'm giving myself a facelift. Crazy person. Okay. Anyway, I'm glad to have met you. I would like to go again. I think if I go again, I want to go like a little crazier and like go like in drag, and you know what I mean, like just go over the top with it. Okay. So yeah, thanks, Alan. Nice to meet you. Jake says, hi Natalie, I've read a lot of queer voices on the internet talking about how Mayor Pete's campaign is exposing tensions in the LGBTQ movement. That is to say, the tiny sliver of the community that its imitation vanilla aesthetic represents, and its growing mainstream acceptance, is straining the relationship between able-bodied, cis, white, gay men and everybody else. I understand that the LGBTQ institutions, in which white men wield disproportionate power, have thus far been focused on the comfortable white LGBT issues. The right to marriage for monogamous gays, the right to adoption for lesbians of means, the right to spend DINK amounts of money, I don't know what that means, on, someone in the comments tell me on our wedding cake of choice. I get it. Not much has been for the trans lesbians of color. Yeah. Full disclosure, I am also an able-bodied cis white gay man, and although I have definitely felt the burden of queerness at times, I feel that the great white hegemony has become fairly accepting of gay white guys, provided that we abide by the same gender kosher that straight men of my class and race are expected to keep. Read Mayor Pete's plain button-down, crew cut, blue jeans for their demeanor, and matching partner, all of which I've been comfortable with since my teenage years. So, in the words of Lady Fobbington, I pose my question thus. What do you think? How can the community not schism when Mayor Pete's narrow and non-threatening lifestyle is taken as the good gay and brandished against the less conventionally queer? Is it possible for the movement to focus more on trans and queer racial issues without the cis white gays being demoted to allies? Can people with privilege use that privilege to champion others, or is that privilege so problematic that it cannot be used constructively? Yeah. So I think that like privilege can be used constructively, although it often isn't, right? Like I think that, you know, the reality of the situation is that if you're going to run for president as a queer person, you had better be a clean-cut, respectable, masculine, gay, white man, because this country can't even elect a woman, a cis woman, much less a, trans woman. Like, so I don't know. Like, yeah, our it's always, yes, it's always going to be the most privileged people from a group who are the first to make progress in whatever area. So in this case, presidential politics. So is this surprising? Not at whatsoever. As far as like how do we handle this as a queer community? Like, I don't know. I think that is it fair to demand of Mayor Pete or whomsoever else that they do something to lift up the less privileged members of the community and actively be involved with that? Yeah, it's absolutely fair to do that. Does it mean that we just have to, I don't think I think that's the best situation is that happens, because I think that, the best allies in a sense are people who are more than just allies, who are sort of also part of the community, assuming that they actually step up and be allies. So I don't know, that's my take on it. Matthew Chapin says, love the new look, and for what it's worth, I thought you were a 6 back when I first saw you on a Lindsay Ellis vid like a year ago, so do the math. Okay, great. This month's question is from a friend and Stan's sister in Contra, Lila Scott, at Dank Meme Stash. She also asks, can you recommend any good resources for arguments against TERFs? Resources for arguments against TERFs. So there's this video called Gender Critical by this YouTuber called ContraPoints. You may have heard of it. That's my take. There's also, okay, my serious answer. Let me go to Twitter. There's a Twitter account called @NotCursedE, as in the letter E, not cursed E. And she has a Medium profile, and she spends a lot of time writing responses to TERF arguments and talking points that I find very reasonable and very good. So there's a resource for you. That's not just me. Let's see. Yes, I am twitching my leg. That's why the camera's moving. Okay, what am I doing? Also, sorry to nag, but still looking for a haul back on that screenplay, dear, if you're at leisure. I'm gonna be honest with you, Matthew, that I'm probably not directing that screenplay. I've got enough on my plate this year. Maybe someday I will become a director, but I don't think it's happening. That's not anytime soon anyway. Okay. Riley Dosh says, I pronounced it right. I recently started watching other YouTube channels like Sean and 3 Eras, that is, channels with static screens, and realized that I never fully appreciated your pageantry, so thank you for all the effort you put into creating entertaining videos. You are welcome. For the question, did you ever take a language while in school? Which were your favorite, and which might you be interested in still learning? Yeah, so all throughout like high school and undergrad, I did Spanish. Now, can I carry on a conversation in the Spanish despite all that? I cannot. So, that's what it is. I took German in grad school. That's a little more fresh in my mind, but I'm not conversational. I can read German pretty well, and I can write a little bit of it as I can in past videos, but it's already, like, I probably have half of the German I had when I last spoke German in a YouTube video, because I just don't use it. I think, honestly, like, me being fluent in a language other than English at this point, it's just I just don't think it's gonna happen, you know? Um, I would love to be able to speak Japanese like all white people. um, There's not a language that wouldn't be cool to know, you know? French would be really fun. Italian, oh my god. Such pretty languages. Okay, Tamala Piranovic says, what is the best thing about being a woman? The prerogative to have a little fun. Obviously. That's what I got for you. The prerogative to have a little fun. What's the best thing about being a woman? Yeah, pretty much that. I think Shania Twain nailed it. I don't really have anything to add. I need a drink. Okay, drink all that Red Bull. I'm gonna probably need to take it a little easy with the vodka here. Oh god, we're already posting bread. I haven't even left, guys. I'm not gonna leave. I brought the drinks. I brought the drink stuff here. I'm not gonna do a shot, you crazy assholes. If I do a shot, I will fuck out my lipstick. Speaking of which, can we talk about how the straw ban is femme-phobic? Like, I've seen a lot of discourse about how banning straws is ableist. But why will no one think about the femmes? Like, you can't. I need a straw to not fuck up my lipstick. No, it's not share stream. I'm doing it all right here. There'll be share streams soon. Don't you guys worry about that. Alright, Zoe Blade, I love you, but this music is putting me to sleep. We gotta wake the fuck up. Okay. How do we do that? I made EDM, Creative Commons EDM list. Okay. Stir, 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 stir. I get some poppers. I'm gonna do some poppers. Oh my god, guys, look up. I want you to look at my desk. What's on this desk? What is this? What am I, like a fucking? What kind of gangster faggotry is this? I can't do this on camera because it's technically drugs, so don't look at me. Okay, very relaxed now. What is this stream? Press F. Honestly, that worked. I'm like ready to go to answer questions. Ooh. Okay. I'm ready. Oh wow, yeah, definitely. It's exciting. Okay. We did the best thing about being a woman. Amy Thorne says, if you were a vampire, what would be your specialty and what part of the world would you try to conquer with your dark powers? Bonus question, would you enlist as your familiar? Who would you enlist as your familiar to protect you from the forces that lurk in the daytime seeking to vanquish you? Okay. So, first of all, let's talk specialties. What kind of specialties can a vampire have? Like, can someone explain the vampire lore to me? I feel like I look like a vampire tonight. Maybe my specialty is like, I sparkle all the time. I love that specialty. Okay, that's great. Okay, specialty constant sparkling. Uh, what part of the world would I try to conquer with my dark powers? I would say like that part of the New Jersey Turnpike that just like runs alongside the Hudson River, where you can see New York across the river. There's that like big power plant. That would be my area. It's called the Linden Cogeneration Plant. I've driven past it many times. It's really ugly. I would take that shit over and turn that into my goddamn Mordor. Actually, my Isengard, and I would have my like. I would be the vampire queen of the New Jersey Turnpike, using my sparkle powers. um. Okay. Who would I list as my familiar to protect me from the forces that lurk in the daytime, seeking to vanquish me? Gilbert Gottfried. Tamala Peronovics. Wait, we already answered that. Okay. Jess Wagstrom says, "Hi Natalie, your videos are awesome but seem really complicated. Lots of moving parts, different sets, costume, lighting, long scripts. What's your process for keeping everything organized while working on your videos?" Well, often like as I'm writing the script and doing research, I sort of form my ideas and I form in my head all the costumes and sets I want to do. And so I sort of have those written out. The script I usually have kind of like color coded so that I know like who is saying what lines and like what shots need to be done when, and then I'll make like a second Word document that I call like order of operations. I don't know why I stole this from high school math, but that's the word I use. And that just like lists the order of things that I'm doing. And that's so basically, wow, beautiful. That's how I stay organized. It's just by writing things out. And then I know just sort of like what order I want to do things in, and then I have to like build the sets and like design the costumes and stuff like well in advance. It's kind of a nightmare because I have to basically buy all the stuff I need like oftentimes like well in advance of me finishing the script. So in a way, the costumes and sets kind of like limit the script a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I'm like writing for the costumes instead of costuming for the script. Um, which whatever, like sometimes I can not nothing. It's not the worst for writing because with writing, like it can be good to have some constraints. You know, like you don't want to just have like a blank Microsoft Word page can actually be really intimidating. So it can be good to like have something, you know, limiting your creativity in that way. Okay, Kit Thornton says, "If existence precedes essence..." Oh my god, Kit, you're really... Let's do some more poppers. After this question, I've earned it. If existence precedes essence, spoiler, it doesn't, then isn't everything about us that is social or outward-facing incidental? Our personality, sexuality, or even our ideas come to us by chance encounter, not choice? Only after we encounter an idea or way of thinking of ourselves can we weigh, consider, accept, or reject it. What we think others think of us is usually incorrect in both directions. They are wrong about what we are, and we are wrong in what we think they think of us. So am I correct in thinking that we think of ourselves and perform that identity partially from impressions and conclusions reflected back to us that can't possibly be even tolerably close to correct? We are accepting the funhouse mirror identity we see reflected, and we aren't even seeing it properly. More importantly, are we accepting the things we encounter and the ideas and impressions we get from those encounters as being us when our real selves existed long before any experience? I would like for people, especially people who are struggling hard to understand themselves and live their best life, to stop looking in the mirror of the other's eye to see if they exist. Let me go back to find the question. Okay. 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 Am I correct in thinking that we think of ourselves and perform that identity partially from impressions and conclusions reflected back to us that can't possibly be even tolerably close to correct? We are accepting the funhouse mirror of identity. More importantly, are we accepting the things we encounter and the ideas and impressions we get from those encounters as being us, when our real selves existed long before any experience. Yeah, I don't really believe that our real selves exist before any experience. So I think that the real self, oh boy, get ready for philosophy, people. I think that the real self emerges only through interactions with the other. There is the I, there is the other I, there is the moment of recognition, there is, I'm gonna do some more poppers. Okay, so the self. Here's the thing about the self. Like, I think the self, like, emerges, like... I think that, like, you can't form an idea of yourself that isn't like in some way like mediated by the experiences of others, right? Like, I don't think you would form like a socially coherent notion of selfhood if you were raised by wolves. Maybe you would think you would construe yourself in relation to wolves, but if you're like raised like in isolation, like there's no way that you would you're not conceive of yourself as having like a sexual orientation or as having, you know what I mean, like a complex social identity. That's only this thing that happens like in relation to society. So I think, at least as far as the like meaningful kinds of selfhood that we want to talk about most of the time now, I don't think you you said at the beginning of your question that existence precedes essence. Okay, wait, I agree with that. I'm sorry, Kit. I can't do this right now. I made an attempt, guys. I made an attempt. You saw. I took a running start, and I just went for it. but I don't think I really solved the fundamental question of selfhood. Okay, Joshua Analyk says, please rank the following measurements by their validity: IQ, SAT score, Uber driver partner rating, Rotten Tomatoes score, Yelp score. Okay, so number 1, Rotten Tomatoes score. Number 2, Yelp score. Number 3, Uber driver partner rating. Number 4, SAT score. Number 5, IQ. That's my value system, and I stand by it. The Evil One says, hi Natalie, I recently discovered an hour-long video essay on Fight Club and its cultural impact by Maggie Mae Fish. While I consider myself very progressive and also a huge fan of the film, the essay brought up a very interesting point in the end that while Fincher might have intended for the film to be satire on the white male condition, in practical life it fails to accomplish that because it essentially has been part of forming the foundation for a lot of the mindset that has eventually grown up to define the alt-right movement today. Even though I struggle to disagree with that conclusion for both Fight Club and other satirical works that play it straight in general. So my question is satire played straight dead? Do artists who base themselves on satire have to take extra precautions in their works to avoid spurring movements based on the exact thing they're lampooning? What's your approach to the subject as an artist? So yeah, I think that, so first of all, I've seen the video you're talking about, and it's a great video. I don't know. I feel like as an artist, you sort of like thinking about that kind of stuff as a downer, because as an artist, you don't want to be like art is not really. I don't think art benefits that much from being really constrained by like, oh gosh, like what will the worst people in the world think of this? You know what I mean? Like that's not who you make art for. You want to make art, you want to assume the best of your audience, and you want to make art, you kind of want to assume your audience is intelligent, right? Because no one likes art that's made that assumes that the audience is like dum-dums. You don't want to be condescended to, right? You want to feel like your intelligence is being taken seriously. I think that Fight Club could really do more. Because I think it's actually not, because I think if I remember if I remember Maggie's essay correctly, I think part of what their argument is, God, I'm just saying Maggie's she, right? Why do I just think What do I think everyone's potentially they? Well, because I've been around, because I've been associating with the queers. I think it's she. Maggie, if she I think one of her points in that video essay is that like Fight Club like simply does not communicate effectively the extent to which Tyler is not an admirable person, right? I don't know. I guess to me it's a little weird that people see this like terrorist attack in the end, but like, and still don't. I've had this argument about so many like works of art in the past, because I used to have kind of more of an edgelordy taste in art than I do now. But yeah, I mean, people like a lot of teenage boys watch A Clockwork Orange and end up thinking that Alex is a cool guy. You know, I think that's also a problem with A Clockwork Orange, the movie. I think that's I think Kubrick is just a misogynist, right? He just can't, he just has no capacity whatsoever to enter the subjectivity of women. That kind of stuff is a problem, I think. I think it gets more complicated with something like Lolita, which I think is actually an incredibly good book in a way, even though it's about a horrible monster pedophile. It's like Nabokov is incessantly winking through the voice of this monster at the audience, like showing you, oh God, this is very bad, right? like any competent reader does not come away from Lolita thinking that the protagonist is okay, right? But people do come away from Fight Club thinking that. I don't know. It's tricky, isn't it? I mean, any of these individual works of art, you could just stay up all night arguing about whether whether the artist like adequately signaled that their shitty protagonist is shitty. Right? Why do men love that so much? Men love their shitty protagonists. I guess I do too. Okay, what's next? I love a shitty protagonist. I love my Tiffany tumbles. Nadi Soltez says, you do a lot. What part of the process do you most enjoy? Writing, conceiving, mise en scène, editing. Mise en scène. I love doing the sets and the costumes and just creating the visual look of the video. That's my favorite part, honestly. Writing is just a nightmare for me. I guess I like moments of it, but the process of writing itself is just like, it's so like exhausting. But yeah, that's what gets me through these videos, honestly. It's just the fun of like, you know, costuming and sets. Staying up late listening to music, hanging wallpaper. Okay. Dang says, hi, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on Andrea Longshu. Your last video reminded me a lot of her essays on liking women and the pink, and some of your threads back when you foolishly used to tweet things of substance also remind me of her takes. I personally really like her essays, and to me her Twitter constantly shifts between being a top-tier shitposting account and a hot mess. Yeah, her writing is magnificent. I think that she has like some of the most interesting essays about trans topics that are being written today. I think her Twitter presence alternates between insight, trolling, and, as you say, being a hot mess. I do. Retweets do not equal endorsements in this case, because she definitely says some things that I'm like, the fuck are you saying? but she also, I think, is, you know, when she's on, she's like one of the best. And yeah, I do relate to a lot of what she says. I think that she's probably, some of her takes are fairly true scummy. But you know, that's like most binary trans people. What are you gonna do? Not me. I'm actually the least true scum binary trans person that exists. Am I even a binary trans person? I think I might be non-binary. I'm coming out as non-binary. Oh god. I always spill poppers on myself and then I smell like poppers forever. Okay, what are we doing? God, I love poppers. It's just like that pleasant like heat. You know what I'm talking about? Like it makes you hot, like not like aroused, but like and that too, but like you just like feel like hot all over your face. Like I feel like I'm sweating out of my face. It's very pleasant. That was kind of a big hit. I should maybe tone it down a notch. Okay, James Coates says, "Hi, Nat. I hope you're well and taking care of yourself. I'm not. I'm drinking cheap vodka and doing poppers all night." Do you enjoy vaporwave or other electronic music? If so, do you have a favorite album or artist? Yeah, I love. James, how do you not know that I love vaporwave and electronic music? Yeah, vaporwave. I'm kind of like, I don't really listen to vaporwave per se at this point because vaporwave is a little like, vaporwave is very 2016 at this point. But I not that like that means you stop listening to it obviously because I listen to a lot of old music, but for me, I went really hard on vaporwave for like a year or two then, and I basically think that yeah, what do I enjoy? Yeah, electronic music is such a huge like category. Like, how do you even pick something from within that? Because I listen to a lot of different electronic music. I love Sophie, obviously. I love what have I been listening to lately, electronic music wise. I listen to so many of those like chill playlists, like you know what I mean, like chill wave, future funk, blah 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 stuff. That's like those like live streams on YouTube that you just like play when you wake up in the morning while you're making coffee or whatever. I listen to so many of those. As far as like artists, I mean Sophie, but who else? Why can't I think? Why's my brain? What's wrong with my brain? I'm sorry. Um, Sophie Wave. Love that. You know what? You know, I'm reluctant to say I like him because I got like very like libertarian vibes from his like personal brand and aesthetic. But there's an electronic artist called Savant who makes kind of like video gamey music that's like sort of symphonic and I don't know how to describe it. I think his stuff is very good. Maybe he's not libertarian. And I don't care if he is, because I just like his music. But I just become paranoid about saying I like anyone in public. As you understand, no doubt. Okay, what am I doing? Labor Wave Dashing says, I'm only like halfway through this and it's almost 11 o'clock. Oh my god. I need to start moving faster, guys. This is like, it's been fun, like taking more time with questions this time, but like, I'm gonna be out till 2 a.m. at the rate I'm going. Okay. Hi Nat, I hope you're doing well after your surgery. Who have been your biggest influences when it comes to YouTube? Ideologically, aesthetically, stylistically? Love you rule. Thanks, Labor Wave. Okay, biggest influences. Ideologically. God, does anyone on YouTube influence my ideology? Anita Sarkeesian. Kind of. I don't know. She's influenced my ideology. Jazz. H Bomber guy. It has made me more of a leftist. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Oh my god, stop playing with your hair, you crazy. Aesthetically, aesthetic influences ASMR channels. Just as like so much influence from ASMR channels. They put so much effort into their look. Like Ardra ASMR, do you guys know that channel? Or Heather Feather. I love their stuff. Makeup artists, obviously. I mean, problematic though he is, I do like Jeffree Star's look. I watched a lot of beauty YouTube, just all of them. Um, who else? The drag queens on YouTube, Miss Fame. I've learned a lot of my drag stuff from Miss Fame's tutorials. Violet Chachki. Stylistically, well, let's see, who's influenced my editing? Red Letter Media, H Bomber Guy again. There's a YouTuber called Nathan Zed. He doesn't do content as much anymore, but he was sort of like making stuff regularly like a few years ago. His editing is really good. I sort of have like probably gotten some editing things from that. Chris Fleming, whose editing is amazing. I've definitely picked up a couple of things from him. Okay. Christina L says, I'm 11 months into my transition. When in transition did you get your name changed? Love, Christina. Thanks, Christina. I got my name changed I must have been like 8 months into my transition or so. That's when I did it. Yeah, it's best to get that shit out of the way as soon as possible, because it's just a kind of a pain. And then like there's like so many steps to it, you know? Like you change your legal name, then you change your social security card, then you change your driver's license, and you change all your credit cards, and you change your it's like you just never stops, the name changing. So it's best to get in there as fast as possible. Name change and hair removal. Get started. Any MTF transition, get started is what I'll say on that, because it takes forever. Oh my god, just stop playing with your hair, you neurotic person. I'm getting frustrated with myself. Okay. Casper says, hello, Ms. Points. It must needs be remarked that your orbital structure is looking snatched, and I hope you're feeling more recovered. Thanks, Casper. Yeah, I'm feeling better. Thank you. This is my first AMA, so I wanted to say thank you for articulating things people think about but don't say out loud. That's a bit vague, but as a trans person, I really appreciate you speaking about your feelings on being trans and how they don't necessarily line up with the common trans story, because I relate. That is, I used to be a different gender, and it's hilarious. Question: what do you do after posting a video on Patron or YouTube? I'm that anxious bitch who will be refreshing the timeline nonstop, so I'd have to make myself go outside or something. Oh, I am fully the anxious bitch who just like when I post a video, my eyes are just like glued to the comments for like 6 hours. It's not good, actually. I should go outside. Now sometimes I'll have like made plans for that evening, so I'll post the video, then go and hang out with someone. That's really the best. But yeah, if I'm not doing that, then I literally will just sit there reading comments until I fall asleep. It's not good. It's not good. Okay. Or something. Dimphnomaniac says, hi. Oh, we need new music. I'm sorry to keep changing the music. And I'm trying to stay upbeat here. Hi Natalie, hope your recovery went well and that you had as much fun at DragCon as I had at Balticon. Since you said you're a Lovecraft fan, I was wondering what you thought of the current trend of Lovecraftian horror that is opposed to pretty much every prejudice he had, like Lovecraft Country or the Ballad of Black Tom or Wintertide. I'm actually not familiar with any of this. I think that, I mean, obviously like, the go-to resource on this is H Bomber Guy's video on Lovecraft, which I think does a great job of showing why, like, you know, yeah, Lovecraft's work is tainted by this terrible bigotry, but like Lovecraft like clearly was, as an artist, onto something that transcends it. And I think that it's great that our artists who can find that essence that that Lovecraft had, but without the bigotry. So I'm not familiar with that stuff, but I support it. I'm here for it. I'm there for it. I would like to experience it. Greg Neller says, hi Natalie, I don't know what to ask, but I love your channel. I'm honestly just glad it exists. You're beautiful and intimidatingly good at what you do, so great job. Oh, thanks, Greg. Okay, question. Pinot or Cab? I guess Cab. Like, I don't drink a lot of red wine, but like I feel like if I'm gonna drink red wine, may as well go big, you know? Okay, Scott A says, "Hi Nat, in politics I find that I label myself, when I have to, a social democrat. I've always been apprehensive about indulging in anything that fully implements Marxist theory. However, recently I've been thinking about reading some of the literature in depth beyond just things like the Communist Manifesto and Wikipedia. Do you have any recommendations for someone in my particular position? Should I just go ham and read Das Kapital? Is there a preferably academic podcast that I should check out? I majored in philosophy, so reading some impenetrable continental scribble is something I'm willing to do if you think it'd be interesting or illuminating. Thanks, love you." Thanks, Scott. Reading. Well, here's the thing, Scott. Like, you seem to be writing as if you think that I'm like further to the left of you, but I don't think I am. Like a social, well, I don't know. Am I a social democrat? Am I a democratic socialist? I don't know. I'll vote for the furthest left candidate in America I can, but like, how far left does that really put me? You know? I don't know. I'm not a theorist. I don't have a theory. Like, I don't have like, here's my official position on the ideal economic system. Like, I don't know. Not the one we have right now. That much I know, but I don't know what the ideal one is. You know? So, I mean, same question to you, Scott. I'm in the same boat. Like, if there's something I can read that will turn me into an orthodox Marxist, I haven't read it. Andrew Southard says, have you seen the film Holy Mountain by tarot metagenealogy man Hodorowski? Some of the ways your characters are portrayed as ideas in society remind me of that style. Also, another short one. Oh wait, okay. So that question. Yes, I've seen the Holy Mountain. There's definitely been moments in my videos that have been sort of influenced by that, for sure. So you're on to something. Also, another short one. Are you an only child? No, I'm not. I have 2 brothers. You're beautiful. Thanks very much for your truth, honesty, perspective. Thanks, Andrew. Okay, I have to pee. Chair stream. The bread. Okay, guys, I really need to discover hairspray and some kind of texturizing spray for my roots, because there's kind of 2 things I'm trying to do with my hair. I'm always playing with it. I'm trying to give it volume at the roots, like don't be so flat, you know. And then I'm trying to like keep it like flowing over my shoulders. If I could just get it to stay like that, it'd just be smooth and not. I'm so bad with hair. Okay, are we done? We're done. Okay. Question time. Kelly Zayos says, "Hola, hermosa. I haven't stopped smiling since the meetup, and I think it will be here permanently." Oh, thanks, Kelly. It was nice to meet you. So I love that podcast with Ezra Klein. It inspired me to ask you my question. Should we do a better job at reaching out to and even collaborating with these entertainment channels that are not overtly political, but still left adjacent, and also on the topic of people who do hard left theory, like the MLs who could potentially be deplatformed. What do you think is the linguistic shift or reframing that needs to happen to further progress these arguments to the mainstream? So first question, wait, what's the first question? Oh, better job reaching out to and collaborating with entertainment channels. I think like what would be good is for more like, what's awesome to me is like people like H Bomber Guy or Lindsay Ellis who like make channels that are like about media, but then they also do leftist politics. Like that I think is incredibly helpful. And I think it's great to have people who do have basically entertainment channels to talk about politics. I think in a way that's much more helpful than trying to make channels that are overtly just about socialism, for example. Now the people who do want to do Marxist Leninism on YouTube, well, Marxist Leninism, I mean, they're just, they kind of find themselves in their own little circle, and that's where they're going to stay. But I think that, you know, if you want to do like more like a, I feel, you know, I've made this video. I made the video, the left, right? Like, if you want to do revolutionary leftist politics, stop with the Soviet shit. Like, these are the basic things, right? Make a new vocabulary, reframe everything. Stop using this alienating jargon and start making it, you know, do a stream where you eat, you know, 14 pounds of Korean food while talking about, you know, how evil capitalism is or something. Like, spice it up, people. You know, no one, that's not what YouTube is for. Like, people don't watch YouTube because they want to hear about, maybe you guys do. Maybe you guys want to watch YouTube because you want to hear about Kravotkin. Well, you're weirdos. Okay, Ty says, question, fascism hides its inhuman futurist robot roots. Wait, there, you didn't, the word robot was nowhere in there. I added that. Okay, let's try that again. Fascism hides its inhuman futurist roots. Robot? Where did I get a robot from? Behind the aesthetics of myth and tradition. Should leftists be encouraged to reclaim these aesthetics or at least deny them to the enemy? What can we do on the aesthetic front of this conflict? Well, I do think it's good for the left to tap into like local cultural mythologies, insofar as like, you know, one issue with the kind of like internationalist like socialist revolution thing is that like it doesn't tend to emotionally resonate with that many people because it sort of cuts itself off from the like, you know, emotionally powerful local mythologies. So do I think it's a good idea? Why should I say? I'm just some asshole YouTuber. I'm not a revolutionary. But like, you know, if they could figure out a way to use the rhetorical power of like local mythologies, yeah, that seems to me like it would be good. Emma Jones says DryCon New York City. Yes, probably not this year, just because I've got so much else going on. But next year, maybe. I'm not sure. Andrea Schreiber says, well, I pronounced that super German. Andrea Schreiber says, have you asked yourself about the use of bindis outside the original cultural application? Or otherwise, isn't the scar of Harry Potter perhaps also a slipped bindi of Joanne K. Rowling she gave to Harry? I don't know. Well, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about when you say the use of bindis outside their original cultural application. You mean like white people with them? That seems bad. The scar of Harry Potter? I don't know that much about the bindi or like the reasons for it. So I don't know if Harry Potter's scar counts as that or not. Interesting question though. Eve Rhiannon. Ooh, that's a nice name. Very Fleetwood Mac. Love that. Hey Natalie, what are some of your holy grail makeup products / tools lately that would send a tingle up your spine and let your channel Botticelli and Van Gogh on your face? Let me show you. Okay, here's here's 4 products that I like to use a lot. This is not, none of these are very groundbreaking. They're nothing that like other beauty gurus don't tell you to use all the time. But Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer. If you have oily skin like me and big pores, it is essential. You know, even if I don't wear makeup, I'll wear that because it just keeps my skin like more matte. Uh, this is a beauty guru staple, but the Benefit Roller Lash, best mascara I know of. I have just got some of these like Morphe liquid lipstick. They're like they dry really fast and they dry like in place so that like this I find stays on a long time. I'm wearing it now, in fact, although it's kind of getting fucked up. But part of that is I have gloss over it, and then gloss kind of denigrates it, breaks it down. And then last, this is an expensive highlighter, but if you want to glow for the gods, Natasha Denona Super Glow is the highlighter I usually use these days because it's just bright beyond all reason. So if you just want to shine like I do in videos or on live streams, that's what I use. Expensive, but if you can, I don't know, is it worth it to pay $40 so you can look so fucking wet right now? To me, it is. Okay. Austin Harry says, guess who is a huge cutie? It's the second letter of that question. Love you. Thanks, Austin, you fucking weirdo. I love that. That's adorable. Yeah, I love it. Okay. Toaster says, hi, Nat. I really enjoyed your latest video. As always, hope you're doing well. My question is regarding your VidCon appearance. Will you be hosting a separate meet and greet fan meetup aside from the official one? Or is the lottery meet and greet the only one you're doing? Yeah, the lottery is the only one I'm doing because I'm kind of like, at this point, I don't really have a capacity to organize like unofficial, like off location meetups. There's just too many people. So yeah, that's the only one, I'm afraid. Thanks though. Matt Wright says, hi, I love your social political outlook and also admire your knack for philosophy. I was curious about your thoughts on practical anthropocentrism. I find the extreme of vegan animal rights ideas that clash with the idea of human manifest destiny and human domination over the animals to be well extreme. In your anti-capitalist video, you mentioned the idea of how capitalism does a bad job of maximizing total human happiness. I was curious on your thoughts on how that relates to ecology and species preservation. Sorry if this is too long or complicated to express in a short AMA. I blacked out on benzos and subscribed to your $15 tier and only just now realized I have the opportunity to ask a question because of said blackout. Sorry if it's too late, love your work. You're good, Matt. We seem to be on the same page here. Yeah, that's a pretty good question. That's a pretty good blackout question. Yeah, I agree with you that, like, I don't really understand the like ecological position that's like, oh, the earth and like the earth has like this inherent value and ecosystems have this like inherent moral goodness that has nothing to do with human. Like, I don't really get that. That's like, my ecology is pretty anthropocentric, I guess. Like, I don't really care about the earth. I feel like the earth is like, the earth is for people. I'm not like, I don't know. Does that make me a bad person? I just don't like I think it's good to treat the earth like it has value, obviously, because like we need to keep living here. But like, is the earth like worth something in itself? We don't have time for that. We have to fix it. We have to fix it anyway. So who cares? Ty, second question says, given that's not equitable. We're running out of time, Ty, so I want to be fast, but I'll see what I can do. What do you think about the wave of religious exploration sweeping the left? I haven't really noticed that much of it. I mean, I've noticed like a little on YouTube, like Mexi and posted about Buddhism, and someone else retweeted a video about Catholicism. I don't really noticed that much religious exploration. I mean, obviously, like queer people love their fucking paganism, but apart from that, like, I don't know. It's not for me. If other people want to do it, I don't really have a problem with it. As long as I don't, if it starts taking up too much time in activist spaces, that's maybe kind of a distraction, but whatever, people need to sleep at night. As far as I'm concerned. That's really condescending, isn't it? Well, I'm a condescending bitch. What do you want from me? Okay. Tara Lederman says, I noticed that it's been a little bit since we've seen the Freedom Report and the direct dialogic style among old mainstay characters of yours like Tabby and Dr. Cockbane. Was there a particular reason you've moved away from that style, especially the Freedom Report? And do you have any desire to return to it? Sidebar, I love that Abigail Cockbane has published many books before her doctoral thesis. I'll go turf and to show off. Yeah, I kind of stopped doing those videos after the aesthetic when, like, I guess my whole theory of those videos kind of collapsed as I realized that, like, I thought I could use those videos to sort of explore ideas without myself directly, like, committing myself to a particular view. But after the aesthetic, it became clear to me that people don't want me to do that. People want to know what I think. You know what I mean? And if I don't say what I think, they will speculate what I think. And they will speculate uncharitably. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'll just say what I think then. But I miss those videos. And I miss the kind of artistic freedom that those things gave me in a sense. So I do intend to go back, yes. To answer your question. Danny Zambrano says, hey girl, I wanted to say thank you. Several months ago, I asked on the stream for advice on figuring out if you might be trans. Your suggestions helped out a lot. I think it took a lot of soul searching and confusion, but I feel more secure now saying I'm a trans woman out loud. It's a long road ahead, and I'm far from feeling anything close to comfortable with my body or my presentation, but I don't think I'd be on it in the first place if it wasn't in part because of you. Thank you so much for helping me find my truth. And since I should probably ask a question, what's your favorite TV show to watch when you're just trying to relax? Well, thanks, Danny. I take that Danny as a gender-neutral Danny. I know women named Danny. Or maybe a female Danny, I guess is what I mean to say. I take it as the female Danny. Congratulations on everything. Good luck. Yeah, my favorite... oh my god, stop playing with your hair, you lunatic. Sorry, I'm very harsh on myself. What is my favorite TV show to watch when I'm just trying to relax? Well, it changes all the time, right? I watch a lot of Drag Race, but lately I've been watching Chris Fleming's series Gale, which is an old internet series from 2012, but like, my god, does it hold up? It's so goddamn funny. I love Gale. So that's my answer for that. Michaela Malvazio says, as part of my journey, my transgender journey as a trans woman, I recently changed my name from Michael to Michaela. My approach was to choose a name that didn't freak people out, especially my family, but also honored my given name. Michaela is essentially Michael with a letter change. It reflects the growth I've made as a trans person, and the A acts like a feminine accent, an acknowledgement of my growth and change, I usually say to friends and family. That said, it hasn't really felt right just yet, which makes sense in a way because it's a new name, and one that I somewhat just chose and haven't had enough life experiences to really connect and respond to. I don't even look up right away when people call me Michaela at work yet. Of course, now I'm worried I chose a name, thinking of others first, and perhaps I'm guilty of being too pragmatic. I actually don't even mind my given name, but it's just so masculine and was the #1 name given to boys in the year I was born. I was wondering how long it took for you to settle into your chosen name. Was there times you second-guessed it? And do you have any insights on why I might be feeling this way? I need you to tell me what to feel. Should I change it to Michelle instead? Maybe Natalie will suit me too, Wink. Also, thank you. You're beautiful. I can objectively confirm that. Thanks, Michaela. Wow. I know a lot of trans people do not get their name right on the first attempt. So if you have to change it again, know that you are not alone. I know a lot of trans people have done that, who essentially tried to come up with a new name and sort of had to retry. I guess for me, it took a couple months to really get used to the new name. People would call me Natalie, people calling me ma'am in public. At first I was like, moi, but I got used to it pretty fast. And basically I chose Natalie in part because I considered a name that was much closer to my dead name, but I eventually rejected it because I was like, I want to start. I want something fresh that, you know, I don't feel like people are just like starting by calling me my old name and then calling it the feminine version of that. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't. I wanted to start new. So that's what worked for me. In retrospect, I'm not sure Natalie is like the greatest choice, but like, you know, it's just as well as good as anything your parents would come up with, you know. So I'm pretty happy with it. Um, I am glad that I decided to go with Natalie. At the time when I was choosing my new name, I worried for a while that Natalie was going to be too feminine for me, because I was like, oh gosh, what if I turn out to be some kind of sort of androgyne? Well, I turned out to be pretty femme, so Natalie is good, and not, you know, I don't know, some more androgynous name. I went with my gut on that, you know what I mean? I was like, I want to be feminine, so I'll choose something feminine. That was the correct decision, because that's how things turned out. Okay. I know that the hair thing is intolerable. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Greta Corvette says, what, if any, is your opinion on Eddie Izzard? I stan. I think that they are a great comic. I wonder if you're asking, because like recently I know Eddie Izzard has been saying that they're transgender. I'm using they pronouns because I'm honestly like, I don't know. But I don't know exactly how they think of their gender, but I do think that the vibe I get is that there's someone who maybe would have identified as transgender earlier if they had been in their 20s this decade, you know? But it's hard to say. Anyway, great comic either way. Yoko Netterman says, Dear Natalie, I hope you are recovering well. I have a major upper and lower jaw surgery behind me, and I could not have lifted a pencil in weeks. Please take care. My question is, do you have a good way of unmasking someone who's trying to shut you up by invoking academic knowledge? I mean, when someone summons knowledge that you do not share as the last word. I do mean getting yourself the last word. I do not mean getting yourself. I mean unmasking what this person does to have the last word. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, when like a mathematics person, like you're arguing about something that... So here's the thing. Here's what I mean. You could simply point out what they're doing. You're like, look, if you're really an expert, then you should be able to explain this to lay people, because experts who are really competent know how to explain their ideas in ways that an intelligent layperson can understand. If you're not willing to do that, then that's your obscurantism, and that's an evasive technique. So just literally say that. And that exposes what they're doing. Okay. Also, would you ever do a video about sexism, racism, colonialism as three faces of the same abusive power, as in sexism over female bodies, and the work of capacity of women, colonialism as the same attitude at the geographical and geological level, and racism as a way of cementing colonialism as sexism would not be enough to keep the abuse engine running? I know it's two questions. I'm happy for you to answer one of them. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I've done some videos about these topics that kind of make that point. I don't see that as like its own topic, but it's something that certainly kind of comes up in some of the context of these other topics. Let's take a drink of vodka. I almost said water. Water is what I should be drinking. My voice is starting to get a little rough. This music is silly. Drooling again. Great. Let's go to home. Okay. Okay, Jared McGinley says, Hi Natalie, I'm reaching out to invite you to speak at Towson University during the upcoming academic year. There are a number of students, faculty, and staff at Towson that already consume ContraPoints content. It'd be great to expand this content to a larger audience at our university. Does this sound like something you'd be interested in? If so, please email me and then we can discuss specific details regarding the topic. Thanks, Dr. Jared McGinley. Send an email to info@ContraPoints.com and my assistant will talk with you about that. Thanks. Okay, Eric says, Hi Natalie, I was wondering, Is the infamous Dr. Jordan Peterson actually a contributor, or is someone pretending to be them? It's someone pretending to be them. I've checked. It's not him. Okay. At least if it's not him, it's not his main Patron. There's a few good Easter eggs in the credits in terms of recognizable public figures if you want to look, and a few of them are legit. Sarah Z says, "Hi Natalie, hi Sarah. Hope all is well. I've been reading a lot lately about how many activists can get a sort of compassion fatigue, where one is constantly feeling guilty or powerless at the state of the world, and it becomes more and more difficult to care. For example, realizing that almost any food product you buy is harming people in some way, or watching a movie and realizing terrible people are behind producing it. If this is something you've experienced, how do you cope with this day-to-day life? My voice is really going. Day-to-day life, besides just hoping for revolution to come as soon as possible?" You really have to limit the world that you hold yourself, like, you have to like limit the boundaries of what you hold yourself responsible for. Like, you just cannot be responsible for all the problems in the world. You have to sort of set a domain. Like, what do you have control over? In my case, I have control over more than many people, but you know, it's still pretty limited. I can't end capitalism, you know, like, basically. So I have to be realistic. I can change the opinions, or at least influence the opinions, of a few thousand people on the internet. That's a lot. But you know, and I can't sit around being depressed that I can't do more, because I'm just one person. And it helps nothing to sit around being, you know, whiny that you, not whiny, but like being, you know, feeling sad that you can't stop global warming or whatever personally. Like, of course you can't. Like, you have to limit your own, you know, you have to be realistic about what you can do, and understand that like doing a little bit of good is better than doing no good, and be content with that. Dane Boat says, "Hey Natalie." Hey Dane. I just wanted to say your latest video is fantastic in so many ways. Your thoughtfulness and honesty is extremely refreshing. As many others have already stated, you truly are beautiful. Thanks, Dean. Question. I think you have a lot to be proud of in your career, but what things in your job / videos make you the most proud? I guess I'm proud, like, I'm kind of proud of like the general trajectory of the channel. Like, I'm proud of working on a project as I have for 3 years, and over that 3 years not getting complacent and making things better and better and better, even though I didn't necessarily have to, but just because I wanted to and because I had a drive to do that. And that, I guess, I'm proud of. And I'm also just, well, in a sense I feel lucky, in a sense also proud, but I'm proud and grateful that my channel lets me sort of have the trifecta of like goods in life. It's something that I find artistically fulfilling, creatively fulfilling. It's something that I feel is my little contribution to improving some little corner of the world, and it pays the bills. It's kind of almost impossible to find something that does all three for most people. And so I'm incredibly proud of the fact that I found a way to do it, and of course grateful for the fact that the opportunity was there for me. What is this, an acceptance speech? Thanks, Dean. Eduardo Iavasi, or Lervasi, I can't tell if that's an uppercase I or a lowercase l. What do you think of the MBTI test? Is that basically astrology with extra steps, or has it some degree of validity? I don't know that much about the science of it. My kind of feeling about it is that it's kind of ever so slightly more empirical astrology, but you know, that's good fun. But that's a very, you know, INFP thing to say, isn't it? Okay, Mitchell Garcia says, "Hi Nat, do you have any plans for celebrating Pride next month? Also, what are your thoughts on rainbow capitalism? Sorry for slipping in 2 questions, but I missed you last month because I was in China. Thanks and hugs." Thanks, Mitchell. Yeah, Pride plans. I might do a collab with a prominent drag queen. We'll see if that happens. You'll see. And might, I don't know, like go to a party or something. I'm not really a parade person. Uh, and pride is a little bit of a difficult emotion for me. I'm more of a shame gal, but you know, I think it's worth making a try. Rainbow capitalism is bad, but better than non-rainbow capitalism also. I don't know. What are you gonna do? I think seeing as we're stuck with capitalism for the time being, it's not the worst thing. That's my opinion. Okay. Okay. A Robo says, Ms. Win, we've come to know you perform ContraPoints. How you perform ContraPoints, your signature sense of humor and aesthetic style. How do you perform Natalie? What are some key differences between these two roles you perform? Natalie has much less like big dick energy than ContraPoints. I'm very non-confrontational, in fact, not very contra at all. I'm kind of a timid, like just want to get out of awkward social situations kind of person. I certainly do not want to have an argument about fascism with an Uber driver. You know, online I'm much more like bold, I would say, much more like shameless and much more confrontational. Whereas in person, I'm scared and ashamed. that's I'd say the big difference. Oh my god, stop touching your hair! I'm so frustrated with myself. I just give myself permission to touch my hair 46 times a minute. Okay. Bibis Babis says, "Hi Natalie, I want to stay away from asking any more dark questions for a while as I have in previous months. I've started therapy to help me with the losses I've experienced and the trauma of spending so much time online trying to engage with bigots productively on their level. Question. This might sound silly, but I'm a cis gay white man who spent most of his life in nearly all male spaces. I went to an all male school. My extracurricular were all male athletics. And later I went to a male-dominated engineering program. I want to make friends with more women in life to discuss hobbies, politics, life, whatever with them. As absurd as it sounds, how can I find a space to make more women friends in my life?" Okay, well, this should be easy for you because I feel like women generally share the respective desire. That is, every goddamn Becky wants a gay best friend. So, you know, just you know, you're gonna have to put up with some annoying shit. Granted, like you're gonna have to go shopping with Becky and tell her she looks fierce once a day, but in return you can talk about hobbies, politics, and life. Maybe you don't want to put up with that. Maybe you're not that kind of gay. I don't know. How do you make friends with women? I guess you I don't know, take one of those classes women take. Dancing or or spin class. How about that? Zumba, yeah, perfect. French, exactly. Love that. Okay. Oh, hey Theron. Hey Theron. I'm kind of a mess. Don't look at me. Okay, what are we doing? Jesus, I'm going off the rails here. Jake Gots. Hi Natalie, first off I just want to say that I absolutely love your important work and being able to support you is an honor. Thanks, Jake. So for my question, I was wondering if you had any plans to do a video on democratic socialism. I've been hearing a lot about it, and even after some research, I feel like I still haven't gotten a good understanding of it. Lol, sorry if this is a dumb question. I low-key don't understand economics at all. You and me both, Jake. Well, I probably am not going to do a video about democratic socialism per se. However, I may do a collaboration with a prominent democratic socialist in the near future, so that might be elucidating. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. You guys are gonna need to find another YouTuber for sources on economic stuff, because that ain't me. Stop touching your hair, you crazy. Okay, Mitch says, what was your favorite movie of 2018 and why? 2018. What are the movies from 2018? Okay, so the first one I remember is Hereditary. The second one, what else? What other movies were there in 2018? I don't remember. I literally can't remember. I'm gonna Google this. 2018 movies. Oh, Black Panther, yeah, I saw that. Oh, Suspiria, I saw that. I didn't see most of these movies, honestly. I saw Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again while I was drunk on a plane. Because I'm a 50-year-old white woman. Actually, I'm getting close enough to the point where that's true, where it's not really funny. Okay. Yeah, I guess... Oh, The Favorite! No, was that 2019? I love The Favorite if that was 2018. Otherwise, I guess Hereditary, even though fucking everyone watched that again, that ruined my day. It was actually a good day, but... That was... I don't need to see Hereditary again. Yeah, Theron, I did Poppers Without You. Speaking of which... Cheers. Oh. Feel the heat. I love the heat. The heat. The heat and I just get along so well. Such good friends. Okay. What are you doing? Charlotte Van Pettigam says, hey Nat, hope you're doing well. I recently got on the waiting list for GCS in my country, gender confirmation surgery, guys, and heard that I'll have to wait around 2 years for it. And medical tourism is not an option since I don't make that much money and wouldn't be able to take enough time off, not covered by national health care. I don't really know how I'll hold out for 2 more years. Every day my medical transition progresses, it bothers me more and more. I guess this isn't really a question, but I haven't seen my therapist in a while and I needed to vent about it somewhere. And I don't feel comfortable talking about this to friends and family. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I actually recently tried to make a appointment for GRS a few months ago, and I'm on a 1-year waiting list just to get a consultation. So who knows how long after that. But it's actually kind of just as well, because I'm like, to be honest, guys, I'm like not 100% on wanting GRS. So I'm taking some time to think about this while I'm on the waiting list. But yeah, if you're sure you want it, that is an exhaustingly long time to wait. And I'm sorry that it's like this. It does indeed suck. Okay. Lauren Lucian Rose says, your hair is beautiful. What's your hair care routine? Well, I just use like pretty like standard like argan oil of Morocco shampoo conditioner. I use a like violet hair mask once a week. I have a hair oil that I'll put in my hair after I wash it, and my hair is super oily, so I wash it like every other day. Like, I know it seems like way too much, but like just trust me, in 2 days it's like ready to be washed. It's just it's so oily. And touching it constantly. Yeah, touching it 46 times a minute. That's my main hair care secret, is just never stop touching it. Constantly be doing this. Constantly. Never ever stop. Oh my god. Ugh. And now I had to touch it more because I disrupted the order. Okay. Cole Rainey says, hey Natalie, something that's been really bothering me lately is that my dad uses a lot of slurs. He always has, but has been increasingly annoying me lately. It seems that just about every time I talk to him, he seems to use either the N-word or the F-word. Oh boy. I find it embarrassing that he uses either, but especially the F-word since I am bi and he knows. When I get onto him, he usually says something along the lines of, I'm not using it to talk about black/gay person. Anyone can be one. Have you had to deal with something like this in your life? And if so, how? P.S. Luckily, I am financially independent and I live a few hours away from him, so I don't have to deal with it all the time. Yeah, thank God. Like, no one like in my direct family is like that. But I mean, like, in this case, it sounds like you've let him know that it makes you uncomfortable, and he's doing it anyway. So like, what else can you do? You know what I mean? He obviously is doing it in part to provoke you, as like some older men just fucking love to do for some reason, just to assert. They're upset because they know that their worldview and their value system is fading away, and so they're trying to reassert it as like out of spite. Yeah, what can you do? I mean, if you've made it abundantly clear that you're not comfortable with it, like, walk out of the fucking room when he says that shit is what I would do. You know, make it real awkward. And if he doesn't stop, well, go back to your house 2 hours away. If you're not financially dependent, especially, like, I understand, like, you want to keep your relationship with your father. Like, that makes perfect sense to me. But this, like, that kind of shit, like, I would not blame you for getting in the car and driving home. Rachel Ann says, you said you're financially independent. Yeah. Rachel Ann says, how are you doing? It's been a seriously tough week, hasn't it? So here's a big question. Why do they hate us so? Well, they don't understand us, and we're weird to them, and there aren't that many of us, so we're sort of an easy political target. And that's one, like, the way right-wing politics has always worked in this country, in a lot of countries, right? Is they pick on a racial, sexual, gender minority and just kind of scapegoat and build fear and resentment and disgust, and that builds a kind of political momentum. So basically that. Is it exhausting to be on the receiving end of it? Yes, it is. It definitely takes a toll. So, solidarity, siblings. What else can I say? Do some poppers. I don't know. It sucks. No one knows what it's like to be a sad Tran. Caleb Bernard says, good evening. First of all, love to my aces, love to my MBs. We are good and extremely decadent and no one can stop us. Now, what is on my mind right now is, does it ever freak you out a little whenever people around you treat you with genuine dignity and respect? Is that a thing? I don't think I have too much internalized baggage in the grand scheme of things, but it still kind of feels like the universe is going off script when people are supportive. It's really nice though. Anyway, I'm not really sure what to make of that. Hope you're having a good week. Yeah, no, I know what you mean, Caleb. Like, I've been in situations where, I don't want to get too specific, but I've been in situations where I'm sort of like testing the waters to see if someone is going to accept me, and when they do, I'll just break down crying because I'm not expecting it. So yeah, I totally know that moment. Emily M says, thanks Caleb. Emily M says, I've got some friends and family that are pro-LGBT and believe climate change is a real thing, but are financially conservative and vote Republican. It seems to me like they're prioritizing having lower taxes or making sure people have basic human rights / stopping the world from being on fire. How can I get them to sort out their priorities? What's your opinion on PS, what's your opinion on Trans World Magazine? I've never heard of Trans World Magazine, so I don't have an opinion. But okay, as for your first question, friends and family that are prioritizing their low taxes over, well, first of all, are they even correct about their taxes? Because unless you're really in a very high income bracket, like, you don't even really stand to have that much of a tax benefit from Republicans being in office. Second of all, like, how to stop getting people to be, you know, selfish to the point of psychopathy, I wish I knew. I really don't know what to say when people, you know, prioritize, like, I don't know I don't know how to get people to stop being horribly selfish. I really don't. Okay. There's a few more questions. I'm gonna try to answer it all. My voice is kind of going. Um, Domino Star says, as a big fan of yours as well as Ezra Klein's interview podcast, my main question is, how was it like to be interviewed by him? More specific questions. What do you think about Ezra as an interviewer? Was it fun, boring, scary to be on the show? Do you feel like he talks too much, or do you like his riffing? How edited was the final podcast? How do you feel about how it went? Love you. Love the interview. Hope you're well. Don't forget to drink water. Thanks, Domino Stars. Yeah, it was great. I think it was one of the best interviews I've done, actually. Like, I thought his questions were great. His conversation was great. I really liked talking to him. And what you got, that final podcast, was barely edited at all, if I remember correctly. So yeah, he's a great interviewer. Gamzy Joestar says, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hi Natalie, I'm currently experimenting with makeup, and I'm sure this has been asked before, but do you have any advice for mastering makeup or figuring out how contouring even works? My attempts so far have been disastrous. Also, is it possible the mouthfeel or biological fans will be on sale online at some point, or are they DryCon exclusive? Yes, I do intend to sell that stuff online at some point. So check my socials, and yeah, I'll let you know when it happens. Okay, makeup. So contouring, if you're kind of just starting to play around with makeup, contouring is really not the place to start. Like, contouring is kind of an advanced technique that's sort of like fashionable at the moment, but like, honestly, like, I don't really do contouring. Like, I kind of just tried to do it when I was like getting into at an earlier stage of my getting into makeup, but I found that my face doesn't need contouring. My face is already very angular, right? Like look at these cheekbones. These cheekbones are already sharp as hell, and they cast a shadow. I don't need to put additional darkness into them. My nose, well, before my rhinoplasty, I mean, it was impossible to contour with all those angles. It's still, not the, still a little angular, but it's kind of difficult to contour. I do sometimes do a little bit around my jaw or my hairline, but I think that it depends what kind of face you have. If you have like a very round face, a little contouring on your cheeks can be an easy way to sort of give some more shape to your face. But if you have a more angular face like mine, it's really not necessary. Now you'll see what I do is I kind of like, I bring the blush back, which gives you a little bit of that contouring effect. Like, it sort of emphasizes the cheekbone, but it's really not, it's very light contouring. It's not, I'm not taking a dark color there. I'm just pulling the blush back. What I would do instead is work on brows. Excuse me. Brows make a big difference. And getting your brows to look nice, like, makes them, like, it's kind of a better place to start. So I would say work on brows, get a lip liner, and practice overdrawing your lips. If you want a more feminine look, that is. I don't know why you're doing makeup, so you didn't say, so I can't exactly tell you what to do. But like, I found that like a lot of people who are sort of beginners at makeup, the way they do lipstick is they just kind of put it on. Which, okay, that's like, that's like what most women do, I think. But it really like takes your look up a level if you, mine's getting sloppy because I've been, well, it still looks okay actually. But like, overdrawing that top lip makes my whole face look way more feminine. So that's really a good thing to do for me. And then like, get good with a beauty blender. Just get really good at blending your concealer foundation, so that it's not cakey. Get a good setting spray. And then for me, a lot of the creativity and like the fun artistry is all around like eyeshadow, like these cut creases I've been doing lately. So yeah, that's, I guess, there's my makeup advice. Let's see. Richard Benito says, Richard, I'm going to tell you now, this is 5 paragraphs. And as I say in the question post, please try to keep it to a couple lines. My voice is going, so I'm not going to read all of this out loud. I'm going to skim it, and I'm going to find the question. Okay, here's a question. Doesn't the William Wordsworth quote in your last video sort of have a capitalist undertone to it? Because through the power of original style, Don't companies have the same task to create tastes by which they or their products are to be enjoyed? How does this thought process end capitalism? Because when it's put in this way, doesn't it reinforce rather than end the mentality of creating an original style for enjoyment? Yeah, creating an original style does absolutely nothing to end capitalism. What it does is it gets you, the individual, a better way of existing under it. Um, so, like I say in the video, revolution, but like failing that, like what are you as an individual supposed to do in this situation? Well, creating an original style is not going to end capitalism. It's not going to end beauty standards, but it's going to sort of free you from maybe your psychological like agony over not meeting the standards, right? Is you can kind of use the products of capitalism to create an original style. That's what I was thinking anyway. It's not a revolutionary position. It's a psychotherapeutic solution. Okay. Mike Bell says, "Hi, no question this time. Just need to thank you for answering my boring questions on the last few streams." Oh, thanks, Mike. You're very welcome. I don't remember which questions you are, but I'm sure they weren't boring. Matthew Chapin says, "So the sixth thing was a reference to something you said in your last vid, trying to counter your habitual self-criticism, missing the context. It sounded like I was being a dick. Really sorry. I'm still kind of naive at this web chat stuff." You're good. Maya Jones says, "I always notice that looking into my microwave gives me that moment where I see beauty." I love this comment. "The dark black glass reflection does wonders in taking away my dysphoria. Do you get a similar experience from any type of reflection?" Oh my god, yes. Car windows. When I see myself in a car window, like, ugh. I wish that was the way I looked all the time. Something about it's the dark glass. It's the curvature that's somehow flattering. I don't know. Interesting thought. I've never told anyone about that before, but yeah, I love the way I look in a car window. Okay, guys, this was a fun several hours. It's more than 3 hours now. I'm gonna go rest my voice. I'm gonna go drink some water. If you guys are drinking, go drink some water. Let's be healthy. Let's be good. Let's not be bad. Thurn. How are you guys in the comments? Are you doing okay? Are you fulfilled? Are you happy? Are you hydrated? I'm gonna go sleep in the pop filter. It's time. Okay, good night everyone.